Alright, we back. Alright, so I want to ask an honest question. Who did this? Who did this? Who made this set? I want complete, honest answers right now. Because this has gotta be. I made the joke in the whole like thing is like, man, this is definitely like the mid collection, but I'm but it's like it's like uh I don't even know what to say about it. Stop at the 2 more years. I don't even know where you're getting 2 years from. Like, but that's regardless. But I'm just like, man, like I'm trying to figure out what to say right now. I've only like really read the cards in passing, and then really just been like, okay. I read the Steam Maidens and pretty much checked out the rest. Not because I didn't want to, because I just had so much other stuff I wanted to focus on instead. So I'd rather just like not care about it. You know, let's look at like all the main like grade 3s and their support cards. Man, look at that. The best Belial reprint. Oh, you move up. Okay, what am I doing? We'll look them like 3 at a time, I guess. Let's look at a Ramiel reverse. let me reread this. At the start of your battle phase, countercharge 1. Then lock all your rear guards with different card names and any face-up card in your damage zone. Then for every 2 your rear guards, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, retire it, and its unit gets power plus 20k until end of turn. When its unit attacks, Soul Blast 1, Soul Blast a grade 3, and gets drive plus 1 till end the battle. Your opponent makes CB2. If they don't, until end the battle, when your opponent would call cards, they must call the same number of cards as the number of cards your damage zone more at the same time. Am I missing something? Um. Okay. I don't know. I'm okay with. I'm not okay with this. I'm gonna be honest. Celestial's been like the one like archetype in Angels I have had no real like. I haven't been a fan of. Primarily because they just feel so restrictive. This is more so in G than like in V, because all the stuff at the beginning was pretty much just generic, so there's no real like there's no real some of the issues that are right. Cards on your board have the same names, cards in your damage zone, etc, etc. Like, and also I have a question: does it mean like you get power 2000 for every card you retire, or is it just like you just get the flat 2k, but you pop like, say you have 4 rear guards, you just pop 2? I think it's probably like that latter bit, but I don't know. I do like the ability to just like Soul Blast a grade 3 and get drive plus 1. It's just a simple cost, and it's not like you have to jump through hoops like someone else. And I do kind of like the idea of the guard restrict. The guard restrict's okay. I think the card is fine, but I don't think it's what Celestials really need. Okay, so let's start by like kind of like talking about my thoughts of like what I wanted from the set. From a casual perspective, it doesn't really matter what the set does, because at the end of the day, if you want to play the deck, you're gonna play the deck. Pretty much most of these cards are gonna be cheap because this is clan selection. You get one of everything in a box regardless. So if you crack the set like mad, of course the high rarity stuff, this is going to actually be like really relevant for casually. But for competitive, it needs to do two things, or rather like a couple things. I think one, it has to be better than some of the best decks currently in the format. Or two, it had to be better than your best variant in your clan. Or like do something enough where it's like, okay, it might just be better for this meta. Right? This doesn't really fit that. It doesn't feel like this can just slap Prisms in the face like that. Not because you can't just like, oh, I'm at freaking Counterblast 4. I'm at like 4 damage. It's like, oh, you got guard 4 guards. Okay. I'll just guard with useless crap and then this stuff, right? Because everything's set up. I've got too much advantage. I think in practice it might be something, but I'm not sure. The other Celestial, Danielle, when she's placed on Vanguard rear, discard a card from your hand, search your deck to one card, the same card name as the face of card in your damage zone, and call it, and shuffle your deck. If you call the unit without Celestial, you counterblast 2. Counterblast 2? Counterblast 2? That is a... I've already discarded a card. So what you're saying is I've already discarded cards from my hand for a night to separate for a call. But if I call a generic, say like a No-CL or what else? Like literally any other like good generic, I'm punished even harder by losing 2 counterblasts. That doesn't sound like... It's okay if you're just really just running hard Celestials, because there's a lot of Celestials, but if you're like using like some of the other like good generics, that doesn't seem as worth. So I don't know. And then Nursing Celestial Norel. Auto rear, start your main phase. If you have Vanguard Celestial, put this unit to soul, draw a card, choose face of a gray 2 less card from damage zone, and put into your soul. Wait, what? Hold on. Celestial, put this into your damage. Okay, draw and then put a gray 2 damage zone. Soul Blast 1. Search your deck for one card Celestial and different. For one card with Celestial and different card name. Okay, can I just say this real quick? The wiki been slacking. The wiki has been slacking for like a good minute with like translations and putting up cards. Like, let's look at the original. Let's look at the list of cards here. They didn't even put all the reprints in here. They put like 2 reprints each, and we're just like, oh well, you're good. Some of them have all of them, some of them don't, and I'm just like, bro, who? Hey, wiki team, I'm just gonna have to ask you to step up your game, because y'all been slacking harder than Bushiroad when they designed these cards. Alright, please. Like, just like, can you at least complete? You had months to put in all the actual, to put the reprints in here, and you didn't. You didn't even try. You didn't try. You finished Ezel. You finished Gold Paladin before literally everyone else on this list. Let me check really quick. Yeah, literally everyone. And you have confirmed cards. Wait, why are they confirmed? We literally know they're there. Why are they not on the list? Why do you have a confirmed cards section? I guess like technically if it's like you didn't know where every like clan slotted in terms of the set. I guess, right? It probably is like they didn't have all the information where the cards slot into the set. But I would seem like once the actual like cards got revealed, you would then move these confirmed cards into the actual like sets there. So I don't know. I'm just random. Doesn't really matter. Back to Nariel. I'm kind of like conflicted here because the Gray to Less card is like the biggest drawback because Ramiel Reverse needs a grade 3 in your soul. I guess it just didn't want Nariel to just like cheese into a grade 3 and you just like go to town. But even then I still don't think the grade 2 less in your soul is like that great either. Excuse me. I think angels do what they do, but I don't think they're like. I think the problem is they're stuck in a clan where your best cards literally are just like, oh, I gain Sentinel Strict plus 20k power, and I have a Vanguard, which entire mechanic is flip yellow card, and boasts that to the point where it's nigh unguardable, or if you do guard it, you lose your entire hand. I think Ramiel was already fighting uphill battle in its own clan because Gabrielle is still just that good. So I think in a competitive standpoint, I just think it's a miss. So I think they were just a miss. Going into golds, Ezel, let me reread Ezel too. Put a grade 3 with Ezel's card name from hand to soul. Choose all the grade 3 cards with Ezel's card name not named Grand L Scissors. And Zune gets all their moves in a turn. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, and your soul has 2 more grade 3 cards. Count +1, this gets strike +1. And your opponent can activate Vanguard's auto abilities and unlock all your locked cards. I don't think I don't like him. I don't. I've come to realizations like he's just become another. He's become one of those Gastille clones. He's become a Gastille clone, and I feel like it will make the Castile, Rising Nova, Michael Jordan, whatever clone that just copies like your cards and makes it the Vanguard skill. Now, granted, he does have like a second skill, but it's more reliant on the first one. I feel like this deck is just like, I feel like Ezel Scissors really requires you to like build a deck that just doesn't brick with like 18,000 Ezels and no right deck to support it. So I think it's kind of one of those things like, yeah, you get the dry +1 and you're building up to a better turn in the end, but it is very much it. It feels like all the pieces to the actual like deck just need. It feels like you just need to go completely right for your deck to work, and I think that's kind of my issue with Ezel Scissors. It requires too much to work right. So that's just me. Backdemagus. During your turn, it gets +5k for each grade with Ezel in your soul. And if your soul has 2 more grade 3s, it battles the entire column. So grade 3 becomes a 14k. And when you're on your turn, it battles an entire column. Which is fine if you're like your opponent just like hits too many defensives and you're just like, I can't get through. Benders is fine, but I think there's just better cards probably to run the grade 2 slot. And even if there were like enough grade 2s to run, I mean, no. What I mean is, like, even if you could find a way to put him in there, would it? He has the issue of how many Ezels do you need to run for your game plan to be more consistent, while not sacrificing the other grade 1s and 2s. And so back then, just getting big on his own while having all those Ezels in his soul is good. But I just think there's more cards you could probably be running instead that don't just like hamper your game plan. Which is sad because I really like his art. And then White Lion, auto Vanguard rear. When its attack or attack is boosted, already like much better than most of the grade 1s to do this. Hit a Vanguard, look at top 6, choose up to 2 grade 3 Ezels, reveal them, put into your hand, shuffle your deck. If you put 2 cards in your hand, choose a card from your hand, put in your soul. If you're running Ezels, you're probably just maxing this out because you need your Ezels to go in the right like position anyway. So having this card there and just cheating one early, praying you cheat one early, is perfectly fine. It's like the grade 1 in Astral Poets, where it's just like you really need this. You need your cards now. You need your consistency now to like actually make your game plan not be just fully vanilla turn 3. So alright, we're 2 for 2, and like everything just seems like kind of like suspect. And speaking of suspects, here's the great suspect of it all: Raging Fall Dragon Reverse, the man that literally made me fall asleep. So act Vanguard, lock one of your rear guards to Ranger's card name, choose 3 units per Ranger in the card names, and then get power plus 5k until end of turn. I mean, force 2, I guess, but okay, so that seems very cool, but it contradicts with the next skill, which is auto Vanguard once per turn. Why is that a... Okay. Reduced by Counterblast 1 for each of your locked cards. At the end of the battle, this unit attack costs Counterblast 3 and discard 3 cards in your hand. Choose up to 2 of your stand rear guards and lock them. Then, if you have 2 more locked cards or 5 cards in your damage zone, stand this unit. Why is there trivia? I'm just looking at this. What is this? What exactly is this? I'm being as honest as I possibly can because I'm still just don't know what's going on. You hyped up the idea of, oh man, here's the reverses coming back. Also, we've made new variations of the reverses for clans that either didn't get a reverse or had a reverse, but for some reason we're just like, nah, here you go, here's a new version. And you had Raging Fall, part of one of the most popular clans in this franchise, one of the most popular decks in this franchise that has premium support, and you make this card into the most... I don't even know what to call it, like... And I need big digging? What are you digging into? Like... I guess the question is, like, what are you digging into? Do I not have the actual... Like, you have to so, basically, it's like, to make sure you don't counterblast 3, you have to lock. You have to use your first skill to lock basically your back row, so that your front row gets plus 5k. You still have to discard 3 cards. The right list that makes this better. Oh, that's what you mean. Hey, you find it, let me know, cause I don't know how Ryan Kai and Derek Dow are gonna do it. I really don't know how they're gonna do it. If they find a way to make this work, they're gods. Because I don't know how you make this work. So, but it's like, yeah, you still have to discard 3 cards. So you have to use first skill to give your front row. Then choose 2 your stand rear guards and lock them. So what you're telling me is I have to now discard 3 to make sure I don't counterblast 3. I have to lock basically 3 cards in a force deck to my back row. Then lock 2 more cards. Choose up to 2, I guess, right? I guess like choose up to 2 and to rear and lock them, I guess. Oh yeah, that's right. Choose up to 2. I forgot to choose up to 2. So like you could choose. Yes. Okay. Never mind. I realized that you could do that. You can choose up to 1 and just unlock them. You get 2 more lock cards. Or 5 stand. Okay, this took me a second to read. I still not really happy with it. Like, yeah, you effectively lock your back row and discard 3 to restand. Which, pretty much because you get power, just becomes a Force 2 deck. So, I guess the stand 2 is there. But this really just... I don't know. I feel like it's weird to be disappointed by it. Yes, 50k to front row and just 3 discards to restand. Like, I had to... Right, again, it was 6 in the morning. I had no sleep and rereading it. I don't think... You know, it's definitely not unplayable as it once was, like, when I originally read it. I feel like Raging Fall isn't terrible, but... And I guess I understand why, because if you Raging Form into Raging Fall... Can you Raging Form into Raging Fall? Oh, let me find Raging Form. That's only the tribute... This card's pose mirrors that of Raging Form, where their arms are in opposite... Alright. I'm done with the wiki. I'm sorry. I'm starting to hate these people. I don't know why. Okay, let me read what Raging Form did. When placed on V, Counterblast 1, search your deck, battle attack, retire 3 guards, Avenger, choose up to 1, grade 3 with renders carding from your hand and write it. Yeah, so I guess it's like if you Raging Form, find a way to like Raging Form like loop, and then you go into Raging Fall, you have the ability to just like lock 2. I mean, the whole point of like Raging Form was to just kind of like get to a position where, oh, I can Raging Form into Raging Form into Raging Form and just beat my opponent over the head with triple restand. At least that's how I remember it. So that's something. Rukia, when it's rode upon by a Universe Avenger, so grade 2 to grade 3, look at top 3, choose up the 1 card Avenger, with its card name and grade, which is equal to or less than your opponent's Vanguard from among them. Reveal it and put it into your hand. Put the rest in the bottom of the deck in any order. And then if you have a grade 1 Rearguard Revenger's card name in the same column, it gets +5. This definitely feels... I think I saw like a lot of people like really like not really vibe with this card. And I can get why, right? In a clan that's known for like sacking its rear guards, having a skill that like requires you to have a grade 1 that's a Revenger in the same column +5 basically means like you have to attack with this first before you do your raging turns. But it also contradicts Raging Fall skill, because you need to basically lock your back row to make sure you get like 4 attacks. So it's very much a really weird like idea for a card. So I get why people will be upset with the second skill, but the first skill I think is pretty good. Just like an on ride, get a free Revenger. I think the first skill is pretty fine. So that could just be, I think the first skill just makes up for it, but it pretty much is a vanilla in Raging. So I guess I can see why. I can see why people are not really like that sold on it. But I think it's pretty good regardless. At the very least, for the regular raging form, that'd be fine. And then Rakia, which I saw everybody love this card. Auto Soul, when your grade 3 unit Revenger's card name is placed on Vanguard by writing from a grade 2, search your deck for a grade 1 Revenger's card name, call it the regular circle as rest, and shuffle your deck. And then once returned, Soul Blast 2, choose a grade 2 Revenger's card name from your drop and call it to the rearguard circle in the same column. Yeah, this card is really good. I'll say this, and just from my base knowledge, like a lot of the cards in this set that aren't the bosses, I think are really good in terms of actual support for the clans. I think this is like one of those cases where it's just like the grade 1 is just so good. Your turn 3 is basically you basically get 2 Avengers, because you do this as a grade 1, do this as a grade 2, then ride either Raging Form or Raging Fall. You effectively just get like what, a +2? You get effectively like a free +2, right? You use Rukia first, get the top 3 so that you don't like potentially brick on it, and then Rakia just gets you a grade 1 Revenger. So you just get it, then use the Soul Blast 2 to get another one. Like the ride line for quote unquote actually like ends up like doing a lot of good stuff, and this like makes up for the potential minuses by getting you the 3 on board to just start going in. At least for Raging Form. Raging Fall, because that the grade 1 calls the card at rest. That's probably the one bad part. But I say the grade 1, grade 2, the grade 1's good. The grade 2's okay. And Raging Fall like needs like a really, really like good deck build to make this work. I think sleeping on it, I'm not too upset on it, but it's still not. Alright, next clans. Tachi's, Nubas, and Beast and Novas. I'm gonna call them Beast deities because they ain't really, let's be honest, they ain't really things. Magatsu Storm. When its unit is placed on rear by ability of your Vanguard Magatsu in its card name, Lock all your rear guards without Magatsu in their card names, and all your units get power plus 5k until end of turn. Then your opponent's banger is greater 3 or greater. Cost counter plus 1, discard 2 cards. Until end of turn, this unit will perform drive text for the battle it attacked. When this unit is retired from rear guard circles in your opponent's turn, Soul Blast 1, put this card into your hand. Your opponent chooses a card from their hand and discards it. I like. I'm not mad at Magatsu Storm Reverse, cause it is kind of, in a sense, like a restander. Like they kind of hinted at. It's like, oh, it's basically like your Vanguard. It's like a restand or something, whatever it was originally. I'm not upset with Magatsu Storm Reverse. I'm more upset with the grade 3 or greater cost thing, because like the combos 1 discard to get drive checks. But like you're basically just call it. You lock all your like non-Magatsu regards, and everything just gets plus 5. I think that's not really like a big skill. And like all its power is really locked behind you going second or turn 4, in which your opponent just kind of like gets there. A lot of these cards being locked behind like going second is fine. The problem is we're in an era where going second was... We're in an era where you didn't have these restrictions on cards that are arguably much better than what they originally were. So you have just like this isn't really like, when you think about it, considering all the crack stuff that's happened in V in years, having a card that just is CB1 discard 2 to get twin drive doesn't seem like that much of a busted thing. So I think the first skill has the issue of it's stuck in an era where like it's not stuck in an era. It's working with a card that's stuck in an era from 4 or 5 years ago. And I think there's only so much you can really do to like help support it without just redoing the whole ride line. So auto, when it's retired from rearguard circle, Soul Blast 1. The second skill, I already read the second skill. The second skill is actually good. The second skill is actually really good, right? Because it helps with Magatsu's original Magatsu Storm's ability to just like pop 2 from year 4 big field and just PG an attack. And I know there are like cards in Miyagi Academy where it's like, oh, you retire me, you draw a card, you get value back. So I think the fact it is able to recur itself and nick your opponent is actually really a nice idea, right? Because like they can't get rid of it. It's like it's gonna happen regardless, unless they have like a bind or something, right? A bind or a lock. It's like you can't hit into it, or you can't use your retire skills because it's like, oh, Soul Blast 1, you lose a card. So that's one of the things I did like about like the wave in set 5 in terms of like how it helps Magatsu is like, oh, I just gained advantage some way. So I think the only real issue is that it doesn't have the ability to like replace Magatsu Storm original. It's definitely meant to like coincide with it, but definitely is like, if you brick, oh boy, you were screwed because you don't have a Vanguard. You literally don't have a Vanguard. Royale Nova. When it's placed on Vanguard or rear, check top 2 for a card of Magatsu. Reveal and put into your hand. Put the rest of the bottom deck in any order. Excuse me. And when it attacks, you may have this unit get plus 6k until end of turn. If you do, at the end of turn, put it on the bottom of your deck. When attacks, you may have get 6k returned to the bottom deck. I guess if you want to like, I wish it like at the very least like drew you a card to do so. But then again, that might be like too like nasty considering like you already have Magatsu Gale, which just does that. And so I think the ability to get more like consistency buff is nice because you get to choose get search for Magatsu. Yeah, I can see this is definitely the weak link of the Nuba cards. I think the top 2 search is kind of like the iffy one because there's only what you can only run a max like 4, 12, 16 Magatsus. So checking top 2 just feels bad, right? It just feels really, really bad. I think you could run this like a couple copies, but and then Unin, oh shoot, I closed it. Where are you? Unin. Yeah, Stealth Dragon Unin. When it's rolled upon, Soul Blast 1 and reveal a grade 3. Search deck for a grade 2 with a different name. And put it in your hand, shuffle your deck. Choose a card from hand, put it in the bottom of your deck. And at the end of the battle, this unit boosted. Put the boosted unit in your soul. Choose 2 Irregulars to turn to your hand. I think Unin is really good because I think Unin really works really well, right? Because Magatsu Storm when regular, at least for V, needs the actual Magatsu Gale, not Magatsu Storm. Let's see, Magatsu Storm V. Does it need a grade 3 soul for the skill? Turn your hand during your turn, soul lasts a grade 3. Yes, it needs a grade 3. And I remember there was a promo that counts a grade 3 in the soul. So I think like having Billy just like put that into the soul and get Magatsu up and running turn 3 faster is nice. Then you also have the ability to bounce, meaning now you can proc Magatsu and call those cards back. You know, restand, get you a Magatsu, Storm Reverse. Oh, there comes to this set. Oh, that already. You know what? I think Nubatama might have something here. I think Nubatama, out of all the actual decks so far that we've seen from set 4, might have like the most like consistent like glow up in the entire thing. It has 3 cards that try to like fix the issues, and now it gets the promo that like really helped it. I think Nubatama might actually have something. I think Nubatama is probably like a winner here, which I was not expecting to say with freaking Magatsu. Like, Magatsu? Really? Okay. So yeah, I think Nubatama, I think it's like a actual like you look at his cards like, yeah, no, this actually like, is good. Oh, I didn't get the last beast, the back speed. We got max speed. Just put it here. All right, Tachikaze, I'm gonna let you right now. If Nubatama was already good, this is busted. Raptor Colonel, when its unit attacks, counterblast 1, retire 1 or more rear guards, and gets plus 5k till end turn for each you retired. If 5 or more units retire for the cost, your opponent's vanguard is grade 3. At the end of the battle, stand it. And during all turn, all your units placed during this turn's battle phase get plus 5k. This is actually pretty good. I think the restand being locked behind grade 3 is another like kind of issue, but I get it's Excel. You already have like 4 attacks anyway. You don't really need to go completely sicko mode, so I get it. There we go. There's the actual thing. So, but I think having the ability to just restand is really good. Um, and then if if you basically engorge, call these cards, they get power. Something like I think was sorely needed for Tachi's. So like, I think even if you don't get the restand, it's like you go first. Just the actual attacking you could do, multi-attacking like capabilities you could do are already good, and then Colonel just basically becomes a finisher. I'd say Colonel's good. Meanwhile, Raptor Captain is busted. I've read Raptor Captain. When it's rode upon by Colonel, Soul Blast 1, search your deck for up to 2 grade 2 or less military dragons. Call in a rear and shuffle your deck. And when this unit with equip gauge retire from Irregular Circle, Soul Blast 1, call it to open rear. Like, remember when I was talking about, like, oh, the multi-attack is actually pretty nice? Bam, here's the multi-attack. Just straight up, like, you come up with you swing with it, eat it, call it. You now have, probably 14k, 19k on Excel 2 multi-attacker, potential front becomes 29, etc. You have a multi-attacker again, which is really nice. And the only issue is getting an equip gauge on it, but there's so many cards that just give you equip gauge. I don't think it really matters like that. And then just the hard, like, I guess you could say like +1 or +2 you get just to call this is like insane. And then Raptor Sergeant, I think it's the weakest one, but you're running it because you can just Raptor Colonel is just Raptor Captain is just so good. When placed in Vanguard, check top 7, choose up to 1 grade 2 with Military Dragon, and reveal it, put your hand, shuffle your deck. So you try and like search for the right line. That's very important. You need the grade 2 more than anything. And when its unit attacks or boosts, choose one of your rear guards without any equip gauges, and we put the top card of your deck face down as equip gauge for that unit. So there's your way to get your captain the equip gauge, just free, just to boost, get this equip gauge, attack with Colonel, eat this, call it, and just go sicko mode. I think it's the weakest Raptor, but I think it's still pretty good. I don't think it's that bad. Speaking of bad, Ethics Buster Reverse. Is there something I'm missing? Can I just talk about how every like clan selection so far, like ethics, not just ethics, but like Nova Grappler in general has like been in this weird state of, has been what I call the flash and light syndrome. Which, when we get to like another card in the set, I'll probably explain a little bit more. But the skill is when your rear guard attacks, if this unit is stand, lock the rear guard. When this unit attacks, this unit gets power plus 5k until end of turn. At the end of that battle, discard a card from your hand, choose 3 of your locked cards, unlock them, and retire those units. If you retire 3 cards, stand this unit. What? And then when its unit attack hits, Soul Blast a BC the Ethics Buster, and its unit gets drive +1 till end of turn. So what you're telling me, I don't know what to say. I don't like this. I think Nova Grappler since it's weird, but it does put in the work. If it does, my thing is, even if it does put in the work, the amount of like You have to discard one, then choose 3 locked cards that didn't even get to attack to unlock them, and then retire them. Not put them at rest, not bounce them to your hand or something. Just straight up get them off the board for you to not use in a clan that doesn't have recursion. And then just restand the Vanguard. And its third skill requires the Soul Blast and Ethics Buster, which pretty much means, outside of like cheating it into soul by some way, you have to spend a turn on Ethics Buster. It's not that I don't believe Reverse isn't a good card, which I think it's okay. I think the problem is it still needs to require Ethics Buster. And it's not even like a good, like, oh, you get it for free because you spent a turn on one of the worst grade 3s in Nova Grappler's history. But you also have to hit with that? You don't even get it for free. You have to hit and then Soul Blast it. Meaning you don't get it again unless you have the same method you used to cheat in the soul in the first place. There's a lot to talk about this set, and that's pretty much it. Brainy Papio. I don't remember what Brainy Papio did. When it's unit discarded from your hand during your turn, we call this card to Irregulars Circle's rest. Okay. Vanguard Rearguard. When you attack your Vanguard Beast Deity and its card name hits, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, draw a card. Choose up to 1 grade 2 or less card with Beast Deity in its card name from your hand. Call to Irregulars Circle, and that Rearguard gets plus 10k to end the turn. At the end of that turn, return that Rearguard to your hand. I'd say Brainy Papio is a good card. I think, when you discard it, call it to rest, and just the ability to just like get another draw and extend just for being there, and then you can bounce that Rearguard to your hand. I think that's fine. I think for a generic Beast Deity, I think this is a really good upgrade. I think it's a pretty decent upgrade from the original. I don't think I'll say that. I think it's a really good card for V that is good enough to help the Beast Deity deck regardless. So there's that. So I think Brainy Papio is okay. And Max Beat, when it's placed on Vanguard Rear, look at top 3, choose a grade 2 or greater Beast Deity, reveal it and put your hand, put the rest on bottom deck in order. You put a card to your hand, and this is on Rearguard, rest this. Again, pretty good generic for Beast Deities. Gets you more cards, gets you nice searches, and you only really get punished if it's on rear. But since it's a grade 1, you probably just play this on rear, turn 1, get rested, get a free card, and you just get value. So I think Max Speed is fine. I think Max Speed and Brain probably okay. I think Ethics Buster is also just paying for the sins of regular ethics. So it's not as, and it's also just a weird like concept. And again, it suffers from flashing light syndrome. So that's pretty much all the all those from that set. Let's see. Oh god. Oh, we're going to fun. We're going to fun, aren't we? Oh, we really going to fun. Alright. Next up is Link Joker, and it's the Star Raiders. So we have Nebula Lord. Act once per turn, Soul Blast 1 and retire rear guard with Star Raider. Your opponent chooses one of their rear guards and locks it. Then your opponent has no back row rear guards. AKA, like, if they've just, like, either they've all been locked or they've been retired from whatever reason, or they just put it in there. You get drive +1 till end of turn. If no cards were locked, your opponent looks at the top card of your deck and puts it on their open rear guard circle as a locked card. So it's basically like Soul Blast 1, retire, and either lock a card, get a drive, or hold on, okay, let me talk about this first though. During a turn, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, all your units with Star Raider card names get power plus 5k for each of your opponent's locked cards. I don't know if that specifically need to be grade 3 or greater locked, but whatever. So what I get from the first skill is you Soul Blast 1 and retire one of your cards to lock one of theirs, and then you check if they have no back row. If they don't, it gets an extra drive to mitigate the retire. But if they had no cards on the field at all, you get the top card and put it in the lock card. So I think it's like if they don't have anything, you get the drive +1 regardless and lock one of their top cards. If they have something, you lock it, and if they still don't have anything, it's okay. The grade 3 skill I think is not really like need to be like locked behind grade 3 or greater, but that's just me. I don't know how that would like work in testing to be like, oh, here's the fine. So there's that. Right on. Auto drop. If your soul has one or less cards, this is released by Soul Blast 1. If your soul has one or less cards, I don't remember that. Anyway, start your battle phase, Soul Blast 1, and call this card to the rear guard circle in the same column as your rear guard with Star Raider's card name. So you just basically, like, if you've used up a lot of your soul, just call this out for free. That's fine. Alright, I think it's like you just get a free call on the board. So like if you retire this with Nebula Lord, you Soul Blast Nebula Lord, you kill Radon, you can then call Radon back during battle to start a battle. That's fine. And it doesn't have the issue of it doesn't have the clause that made what's her name busted. So when this unit attacks until end of that battle, when your opponent would call from the hand guard circle, you battle door. At the end of the battle, bind this unit. This effect is mandatory. Why? Why is it mandatory? Like, I don't get it. Why is it specifically mandatory? You just literally like, okay, you have to battle door me or take a damage. But regardless, I'm gone. Like, why am I losing a card for good and binding it? It doesn't make sense to me. And I was thinking about Schwarzschild here. I was thinking when I read this, I was like, what about Schwarzschild? Doesn't work with Schwarzschild. Doesn't. This is actually just like this skill. If this skill was not on, the card, I think this would literally be better. It'd literally be better if this skill just didn't exist. That's not good. And then Neon, at the start of your battle phase, Counterblast 1, and call this card to the rear circle in the same column as your opponent's locked cards. At the end of your opponent's turn, if your opponent's locked cards were not unlocked this turn, bind this unit. And this effect is mandatory. Why are you binding these cards? Is there something like in next Clan Collection that we're missing like context with for you binding your Star Raiders now? Is there something we're missing here? Because I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it all here. So it's Rodon's first skill is so good, but the second skill just shoots in the foot, no pun intended. And Neon is not good at all. Doesn't do anything for you on ride. Doesn't do anything for you. Doesn't really do anything for you instead of just being like a booster. And Nebula Lord has to fight with. Do you want to ride Chaos Breaker or Infinite Zero instead? It's fighting with three cards. Maybe there will be Venom Dancer to do stuff with Bind or Blaster Joker. Well, I guess that's the kind of like big question. Like, if we did that, like, why would you do reverses, but leave out the card that uses reverses, which is Glendios? It's kind of this weird thing. Like, you set this as your year in advance. Why would you not conclude with Glendios in some way? For all these reverses you're gonna give every clan. So like I would say like Venom Dancer might be something interesting, but like it's pretty much like not doing Glendios seems like the biggest neg for doing all this complex things. Yeah, it'd be like reverse Cradle, so that you literally get your reverse Glendio, your reverse for the nation, and then you'd get Glendios to have the ability to be like, hey, if this in your deck, you can run any reverses. So that's a thing. It's sad because I do kind of like Nebula Lord. Nebula Lord's not bad, but it's just fighting with too much stuff to be like an actual like boss on its own. So I say Link Joker's a wash here. And now we go to Amon. Amon is Amon is something. Vanguard Circle, once per turn, put a rear guard in a card from your hand and a card from your drop into your soul. Your opponent chooses 2 cards each from their rear guards, hand, and drop, and puts them into their soul. If your opponent did not put 6 cards into their soul, this unit gets strike +1 until end of turn. And then continuous during your turn, this gets plus 5k for every 6 cards in your soul. If it's used on Vanguard Circle, it gets 10k instead of 5k. And continuous, this unit gets critical +1 for every 6 card in your opponent's soul. This is conflicting because I want to say like I actually like Amon's skill. I like the idea, right? Because it's okay, I'm ripping 2 cards from your hand, 2 cards from your drop, and 2 of your rear guards and putting them into the soul. And if they didn't, I get an extra drive. Right? So which is gonna be like, it's gonna be hard because it's like, how the heck are you not getting like 2 rear guards from like to everything to soul for the drive to not get to actually get the drive? It would have to be like you just warn them out. But I like the idea of just straight up removing cards from the soul, because a lot of clans can't really get the cards out from their soul. There's a lot that can actually like use the soul, like Pale Moon can, and if you're in the DI mirror, that's an issue. But in terms of, why am I so back? Okay, I need to like sit up. But like in terms of the actual, I think like most clans can't do it. I think the question is like which clans will be meta come the end of the set. I think the 10k for every 6 cards keeps your soul charging, and the critical one with 6 cards your opponent's soul is kind of like, I get it. I like the idea of Amon more than it being. I don't think this Amon can be its own unique deck. I think you could do something premium, not you have a better Amon with the force marker, with the extra power. I think you can do something with Amon too. Plus you have the Revival Legion. So I think you could do something with Amon in premium maybe. That could probably be a little bit cooler for just like a casual deck. Now Ron Gillen, when it's placed on Vanguard Rear, Soul Charge 1, your opponent chooses up to 1 card from their hand or rear guards and puts it into their soul. If they didn't, you Soul Charge. And if your opponent's soul has 6 or more cards, this gets plus 10k, shield plus 10. 15k shield, 19k beater, in a clan that's not really known, which is known for that. Yeah. As a I think the soul charge, I think for a lot of times your deck is gonna be it's just an on-play soul charge 2 for free. Cause I don't think your opponent's going to like, oh sure, I'll remove a card from my field or hand, put into my soul. Unless they literally have a deck that's like, you know, I just talked about Ramio earlier, or Ezdol, where it's like, oh, you know what? I'll take that, and I'll just put it into the soul, so that my deck is actually working. I think that's like one of those rare instances, but for the most part, you're pretty much gonna get Soul Charge 2 at return, which is fine for a generic Soul Charger. Premium Barrier Magnet is gonna go sicko mode. The opponent's soul really only matters with either the mirror or only with the mirror, or you've used Amon. But like I said, I don't think pure Amon is going to be the deck build going forward for this. And then Fu Gilin, put a card from your hand to your soul, you draw a card, your opponent chooses a card from their hand and puts it in their soul, your opponent may draw a card. I feel like somebody forgot to delete this part, or at very least this part, because saying your opponent may draw is pretty much just like your opponent's gonna draw a card. This has the weirdest issue where it's like, this has the issue that you think Ron Gillen would have, but Fu Gillen has it almost worse. In which, yeah, you put a card from your inner soul, you draw, but then your opponent cycles too. And, you know, I think just like giving your opponent a free cycle isn't exactly like the best idea, regardless of whatever deck they're playing. And then auto rare at the start of your battle phase, your opponent soul has 6 or more cards. You may soul charge 1. If you soul charge, choose one of your units, gets plus 5k in turn. I think this is in the running for worst card in the set. Honestly, I think Fu Gillen is just bad. It just really feels like a card that's like, why are you here? You don't help me. Oh shoot, I soul charge 1 for 5k if my opponent has 6 or more cards in their soul. That's not, well, at the very least, Ron Gillen gained 10k power, 10k shield for that. Oh, a soul charge gets plus 5k. When you're, to even put you on board, I gave my opponent a free cycle. Just, no. I think the grade 3, I think the grade 2 is just gonna see play generically because it's the, again I said, free soul charge 2. I think Amon is not going to be generic. I think you're not gonna have, not generic, but like it's gonna be a situational ride for your deck, and Fugilin is just trash. I'm sorry, it's just trash. All right, time for my clan. So instead of giving Chronofang more support, or instead of giving Jet more support, or hell, remembering Lost Legend exists, they said, let's make Steam Maidens a real deck. Which I'm fine with, don't get me wrong. Okay. Which, I'm fine with Steam Maidens getting their own deck. I'm not mad at that. It's just kind of like, the issue is like there's very little Steam Maidens. There's very little Steam Maidens to really work on it. But when I did see the Lukier gameplay and I saw this deck in actual action, I'm like, you know what? This deck has some potential. We just need some more support, like some of the other like clan selection cards, right? So we go to act once per turn. Cost, bind a card from your drop. Choose a card with Steam Maiden as card name from your bind zone, call to rear. So basically just like, let's bind a Steam Maiden, call a Steam Maiden. Already, that's good, that's fine. And then auto, once per turn. At the end of your battle, your rear guard with Steam Maiden as card name attacked. Bind that unit. Choose a card with the same grade as the card bound for this cost +1 from your bind zone, and call to rear. If you call it grade 1, countercharge. So this is where like they talked about like, oh, here's where Uluru comes in, right? If you bind Uluru, you can call a grade 1 and then you get a countercharge. I don't know how good that's gonna be because Uluru is the only Steam Maiden, right? We don't have a Steam Maiden crit. We don't have a Steam Maiden draw. We don't have a Steam Maiden front for obvious reasons. So this skill basically requires removing a heal from the game for a counter charge. I don't think that's exactly worth. But this skill is so negligible, it doesn't really matter. It's really much get the extra attack from the Steam Maiden. The attack matters more than the counter charge skill to me. I think that's perfectly fine. And it has a third skill, Vanguard Rear. During a turn, it gets +1k for each card in your bind zone. If it's on Vanguard, it gets +3 instead of +1. So just for binding one, it becomes 16k beater by itself. So you could theoretically make this a Force 2, but I think this is pretty much a Force 1 variant that just you pretty much get a lot of value with, because you're just pin force markers and just slapping up. I think I like the idea. I think Elu is a really good, like, I think he's a pretty good boss. I think the issue is you need more Steam Maidens to come out. Hopefully we get more next set and just do some shenanigans. Aluru is a grade 2 Steam Maiden. When it's placed on rear guard from bind, bind a card from your drop, and this gets +3k in the end turn for each grade of the card bound for this cost. So it can get to +9. It can get a +9 from binding like an Elu or another card in your bind zone. And then auto rear, at the end of the battle, this unit attacked. If you have Vanguard Steam Maiden's card name, Counterblast 1, bind this unit, choose a grade 3 for your bind zone, call to rear. That's some pretty good extension. Not gonna lie. Just straight up you get another attack from getting your only grade 3, which is currently Elu, which has a rear guard skill which gains power from binding it, so you get another attack. I think what happened was you got like 7 attack. I think he got like 7 attacks on the Elu, like the finishing turn when I saw it, because you have one, two. Then you search this. You consider this like a 1, 2. You have Vanguard, so that's 3 normal. You have 4. You have potentially 5. You could do shenanigans to get another one. I think if we read Iluru, it'll make more sense. But that's just really good. And then Iluru, act once per turn, cost 12+1 and bind a grade 2 less card from your hand. Draw a card. Then if you bound a trigger unit for the cost, draw a card. So if you bind, so say like you bind, use this crit or draw, or your Uluru, you effectively just get what? You effectively get you get a draw 2. So you get a +1, and you get a +1 a cycle. You get a +1 in a cycle, and you set up your bind zone. And then auto rearguard. At the end of battle, this unit attacked. If you have a Vanguard Steam Maintenance card name, combat 1, bind this unit. Choose a grade 2 card with bind zone called the rear. So it has the ability to just straight up, like, the amount of potential extending the Steam Mains can do is just insane. It's pretty insane. So it's like you can go grade 1 into grade 2 into the grade 3. Use Elu's skill. Bind one of these 2. Call like one of them up so that you get another attack. So it's like 3 normally, and 4, 5, 6, 7. You like potentially like 7, 8 attacks. It on like a good like combo that would just really, really be spicy. And because you have force, you could effectively it's really good. Yeah, like 8 attacks. 8 attacks is nice. And this is effectively like they found a way to make timely good. I think the only issue is you don't have. I think the saddest part is because the way that Melon was designed in V, I don't think it's worth to run her. Unfortunately, I wish it was. Otherwise, you have way more like you have Steam Mains, but you don't have many viable Steam Mains. So I think it's best to kind of like build your deck to optimize with these Steam Mains you currently have that are actually playable than just not, right? So I think Steam Mains somehow made a really good deck that works very similar to Time Leap and works with the bind zone, which I think it's good. Like, it didn't destroy the clan. It made a new build, which a lot of like people have always asked for Gears, like, hey, can you give us like something that isn't Jet for once? And like they did. They made a card that was looked at as kind of like made a joke in one episode of GZ and like made it into an actual boss, which that's nice. All right, what's next? Oh God. Oh God, it's the last bit. All right. Okay, so we're at the last bit of the set 4, which I just realized I did set 4 first instead of set 3. It doesn't matter. Okay. I've been dreading this one for a minute. Alright, so we've got Ice Prison Hades Emperor Kagero Reverse. auto drop. At the end of your battle, your Vanguard with Kakaya's card name attack to grade 3 or greater Vanguard. If it is the first battle of this turn, cost Counterblast 1 and discard 4 cards from your hand and lock all of your rear guards. Then, if you have 5 locked cards, write this card as stand. For each grade 3 card in your soul, choose one of your locked cards, unlock it, and this unit gets power plus 10k until end of turn. And in auto, Vanguard Circle, when this unit is attacked, cost retire 3 rear guards, and this unit gets power plus 10k until end of that battle for every 10 cards in your drop. Where do I begin? Oh, where do I begin? Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. So remember I told you like I had a definition for what would be known as the what I call the flashing light syndrome. If there's a card that fits this definition in the entire game so far, it's this. It's this card. Kakai's Reverse is the most do everything and do nothing at the same time card I've seen in the entire game. Especially this set. Okay, let's go through it bit by bit and I'll explain my idea. So, it has to be in the drop. At the end of the battle, your Vanguard with Kaitis and his card name attacked. A grade 3 or greater Vanguard. If it's the first battle of this turn, Counterblast 1, discard 4, lock all your rear guards. Then, if you have 5, write this as stand. For each grade 3 card in your soul, choose one of your locked cards, unlock it, and this unit gets plus 10k at the end of turn. So, this is the big. This is like similar to the Riser's last clan selection, in which you have to jump through hoops to do the most simple thing. Right, so you have to one be on Kakaitis, the original Kakaitis, or at the very least a copy of this, which is to be like, oh, you just do this again or you re-ride. So you have to be on your Kakaitis. Your opponent has to be grade or greater. Then it had to attack first. Then you have to counterblast 1, which isn't too bad. But then discard 4 cards from your hand? So like if you're in a hard losing position, you aren't using a skill. And then you have to lock all your rear guards. Like already it's kind of like, okay, counters 1, discard 4, then lock all your rear guards. Okay. But then if you have 5, write discard a stand. So it's like you literally have. So it's like in that. So that I can't even speak. That's how much I just hate this card. At the very least, in V, I'm only talking about these cards in the context of V primarily, and you just have to think about it. Why? Why is it that if it's the first battle of the turn, I gotta jump through already all these hoops just to have the ability to write this card a stand? To re-ride, it has to be in drop. My Kakaitis Vanguard has to attack a grade 3 or greater Vanguard. and it has to be the first battle of the turn, so I can't change like a so I can't change my actual attack pattern. I then have to counterblast 1, discard 4, and lock all my rear guards. And I have to lock 5. I have to lock my entire board to right of the stand. Then for each grade 3, I choose one unlock cards and unlock it and get plus 10k. So yeah, exactly. There's a lot of words on this card just to do counterblast 1, discard 4, right as a stand, lock my rear guards. But if I have grade 3s in soul, unlock 1. It's a lot of words to do literally nothing. That's what the flashing light syndrome is. It looks complex, but it's the most easy thing, and then when you read it, you realize this doesn't do anything. It's like I put it this, like, you know how like you have all these hip hop artists, right? That want to be like Discount Eminem, that want to be like spitting all the spiritual, lyrical, miracles, all that crap, right? They're just spitting, they're just rapping, but they're saying, but like when you look at what they're saying, and you're just like, what are you saying? I really wish I knew where that Shofu clip was, because the perfect example, right? It was this he was reacting to like somebody, but like I'll find it. I'll probably say something later, but it's like you're saying a bunch of stuff for nothing. It doesn't have actual like depth to it. It doesn't have actual like gameplay to it. It scales like some booty. And it exposes the biggest issue is a lot of these cards in this clan collection are literally designed to just try and reinvent the wheel, but then you reinvent the wheel and the wheel's still flat. Like, this isn't better than Night Rose, and like I don't need it to be better than Night Rose. You can have your own deck build. But why is it that I'm negging myself so hard? For the first time I use a skill like this, I'm still at 3 attacks. I'm playing worse greed on. Look me in the eyes right now. Look me in the eyes right now. Is this not just greed on? Oh God, this is literally just greed on. It's like, I don't know. It's like, greed on is better because you don't sack your entire hand and then lock your board to do 3 attacks. Like, you can, like, heck, there's literally a mechanic. Heck, like, I saw Pooh stream the other day. He was playing greed on. He literally did a triple greed on restand. At least do that. You can't even do that because you're locked to the first battle. So you can't even like do a multiple restand like shenanigans. You're stuck on a 3 attack you're stuck on 3 attacks to do the same thing. I understand it probably like, oh well, they probably loop. Yeah, I was like, if they're allowed to, you're not even allowed to like give a real like finish. You're given a restander in a sense, but you can't even really like, do finishing moves. Which, that's my biggest issue with reverse. You can't. It's bad. How many times is this for? If it means killing my opponent, I'll discard as many cards as I need, right? Because like think about it. If you're in this first battle, you discard 4. Okay, that's fine. You restand. You get 2 cards again. It's like remember back in Vanguard Zero with the not Blouse. Was it Blouse? Yeah, it was Blouse. Vanguard Zero Blouse, where it's like you could just continuously discard 2, hit, discard 2, hit, discard 2, hit, just get a bunch of triggers and stuff, and constantly like, try and loop to like death, right? That was fine. I know discard 4 is still steep, but you still get 2 back. You get a protect marker, so that's 3. You just have to have 1 card somewhere on your body. You have to literally have 1 card somewhere on your body, and then you rewrite again. Now you have 2 grade 3s in soul. Now you've opened your front row again. So it's like 1, restand, use a skill, unlock 1, that's 2, 3, re-ride, then 4, 5, 6, that's 6 attacks. That's 6 attacks that have pretty much been enabled in a sense, right? You can't even do something cool like that because the first battle turn like skill is actually locked there. That's it. It's Sun normal Kitus, maybe re-ride. Hold on. Is my that should be working. Hold on. That'll be working. Nope, it's not working. I was looking for my actual chat. It's still not really popping up there. Let me go to stream elements. Yeah. Oh god, nope. Yeah, okay, here we go. Let me see what's going on here. Give me a second. Good thing I am on the other overlays. My overlays. Chat, yep. Where is it? I'm looking for. I could give him kind of like. All right. Let's see here. Okay. Okay, things should be fine. Let me go back and read stuff. Yeah, but like what you're saying, Matt, it's too slow. It's too slow for something like this, and it's just like why I don't see why playing this is a real thing. I think you could do some stuff in premium with it, because I think you probably do some stuff in premium with it because you get much more draw and advantage, and you can probably put more cards in soul. I think you can do a lot more in premium with it just because premium's crackheadedness. And then plus 10k for every 10 cards in drop. That's a lot of defensive power right there. Probably could stop it. No, you can't. Negro Bolts. Auto Vanguard Circle at the start of your ride phase or main phase. Find all the cards that are not trigger units from your drop. This effect is mandatory. When this unit attacks, for every 10 cards in your drop, until end of turn, this unit gets critical +1, and all your front row units get power +20k. And then continuous, all your units get shield +5k for every 10 cards in your drop. You remember when I talked about Radon, where it's like, you know what, this card actually be okay if this card actually be okay if you got rid of a skill and Like, if you just deleted a whole skill off the card, it'd literally be better. This is one of those times. Man, at the start of my ride phase, yeet all my non-trigger cards. Like, I get why, because it's like, oh, the front row gets 20k and it gets a crit. It gets a crit. So it's like, it's just slamming in your face constantly. But you're already in the issue of, I'm looking at this as a vacuum, it's like, you're already in the issue of, I have to now refill my drop again? Every turn? To get this skill? And then next turn you yeet them, but it's like, I'm also playing a deck that wants my cards and drops so I can call it back out. So you're telling me my issue is like I now have to call triggers. That's not really good either, right? Like, Negrobolt's not... Negrobolt is fine, but that first skill kills it. And then Ghoul Dragon, let me read what Ghoul Dragon did. I don't remember what Ghoul Dragon did. So, act Bind Zone, Combat 1 retire rear guard, choose up to 6 other normal units from your bind zone, return them to your deck, and shuffle it. If you return 4 more cards, call this card a rear. Just hope to hit during main. And in our rear, when this unit attacks Vanguard, Soul Blast 1, retire another rear guard. Choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. I remember listening to was it? Yeah, I see the idea. It's just not a good idea. It's not a good idea. It's just not. Ghoul Dragon is like the only saving grace, because like you choose up to 6 normal units in your bind zone, aka pretty much all of them, because they're not staying there. You got me messed up. And then call rear, but you have the counterblast one. And then I think that says something when Kakai's reverse is worse than a card that literally says bind your drop zone in a clan that needs its drop zone. I think Granblue, I think somehow after going through all of this, I think Granblue loses this set, and we haven't gotten to Great Nature yet. We haven't gotten to Great Nature yet, and I can tell you right now, I think Tachi's and Nubatama probably won this set, but Granblue took an L of the highest proportions. That's right. No. Like, I just no. Granblue takes an L so badly here. Speaking of L's, Great Nature. I'm gonna tell you right now, I already don't like. This is my most hated clan. This is my most hated clan. It always has been. It pretty much always will be unless something changes. But when I saw this when I read these on the original first read, I could not have been happier. I was happy. I'm like, oh my god, these are not good. These are all not good. Or rather, they cost so much to do. So I was like, yes. But maybe my opinion has changed now we've seen everything. So, Polaris Auto Vanguard. Once returned, at the end of the battle, this unit attacked, costs Counterblast 1. Choose one of your rear guards, and that unit gets power. And this unit gets that unit's power until end of turn. Then, if the chosen unit's power is 50,000 or greater, stand that unit. Then, if the chosen unit's power is 70 or greater, and your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, stand this unit, and this unit gets power plus 15 until end of turn. Okay. I will be completely honest with you. This would be so cool if Great Nature could actually hit these thresholds in V. Because I don't think this is really like completely. I think you could do it in premium, but I think you'd probably rather just stride. In my opinion, because yeah, it's like, oh, you get a restanding Vanguard if you hit 70k. You don't lose drive checks, and it gets plus 50 power for a simple counterblast. But I think just the work to get there probably just isn't worth, right? I mean, is that just me? So I think Polaris, like in the future, has a good chance of becoming like much better. I just don't want it to be better because bias. Locks. Onto Guardian Truth locks. Act Vanguard Circle. Once per turn, put a card from your hand into their soul. Reveal the top 3. Put all the grade 3s from among them into your hand and discard the rest. If you put a grade 3 card into your soul for this cost, until end turn, this gets continuous. All of your grade 3 units get power plus 5k. And the other skill, at the end of your turn, choose up to 2 of your grade 3 rear guards and retire them. For each retired unit, draw a card, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. I see it. No, I don't. I don't get it. It's a new boss. It's a new boss that could work potentially in the future, but this isn't good. This just really isn't good. Like, you put a card from hand to soul, check top 3, grab a bunch of grade 3s, and discard everything else. And you already had to put a grade 3 in the soul, all your grade 3s get plus 5k. And then you have to sack the grade 3s, pop 2, and draw 2. It's a lot of like draw power, but the question is, what do you do with it? I think the question is more so, what do you do with it when you have it? It's like, oh, it's like early GOTT. It's like, oh yeah, you draw a bunch of cards, but what do you do? What do you actually do with the cards you draw? Outside of Silent Tom for game again and again and again and again. Just not really that great. And Coiling Duckbill. Oh, that's cute. I just now noticed he has a phone on his head. I just now noticed that. And then Duckbill skill. When his card is discarded from your deck, pretty much to work with the lottery skills, Soul Blast 1 and add this to your hand. When your other rear guard is retired by a card's ability during your turn, Soul Blast 1 retires the unit and draw a card. It's alright. I think it's a fine, but I think they said like I think people are talking about like there's a better card than this that already exists. So it's kind of like it's only here for nostalgia. Overall, I think Great Nature, based on my just knowledge, I think has potential, but it's not there. It's not there, and I won't say it's completely terrible. I think it's just like it just needs more support. It just needs more generic good cards to give it what it needs to make these decks actually work. That's my thoughts. And finally, onto one of my favorite decks in all of Vanguard, Musketeers. Oh boy. Alright, so we got Thorn Lily Musketeer, Cecilia Reverse. So, auto Vanguard Circle. When its unit attacks, cost count +1 and retire 2 rear guards. Look at top 5. Choose from 2 unit cards from one, call the Vanguard Circle, shuffle your deck. Hey, look at that! Finally, multi-attack in Musketeers. We did it, y'all. We actually did it. It took until literally the end of the game. But we finally got it. We finally got multi-attack in V Musketeers. Auto Vanguard Circle or front row rear guard circle. Once returned. At the end of the battle, that's your rear guard with Cecilia in his card name that was placed from deck this turn. Attack the grade 3 or greater Vanguard. Cost. Counterblast 1 and lock 2 rear guards and stand. And stand the unit that attacked. If your front row has a locked card, bind it instead of stand it, and write that card on your Vanguard Musketeer in his card name as stand. So, hold on. Spec, you said this is your best girl? I'm about to disappoint you right now. I literally do not care about Cecilia. I've never really been a fan of Cecilia at all. Like, I love Musketeers, but I love them in spite of Cecilia. One, because I just never really cared for the deck. Two, I just like other cards in the deck itself. But the fact that Cecilia Reverse is able to just straight up... I only remember my hatred of Legion Musketeer players. But, yeah, it's like... I think... I never played Musketeer Legion. I never played Limit Break Musketeers. I pretty much only played G Musketeers because I just like playing. I just like that deck. It was like the only like real, because Neo Nectar was just too expensive, and it was the only real Neo Nectar deck I could actually replay. So that's really, I have more connection to like the G Musketeers than any of the original bosses. But in V, I have. I'll show you right now. Like I actually let's see. Like I actually do have a, I guess you could say, completed V Musketeer deck, right? Got Vera right here. I got Vera right here. Built that, and I really love this deck. Like Musketeers, I had day 1 of release because everyone on Opros. Oh, you made a better choice. You somehow made the better choice. So, to put it bluntly, the first skill is just already like really good. I feel like Vera and Reverse Cecilia best version of the deck. I think so too. I think just I think when I thought about it, I was like, this doesn't really give power to the deck, but I feel like, and I just really like Vera's like drive +1 ability to give like a bunch of power to the front row. So I think Vera is good, and I think Reverse Cecilia can like work with that. I think it'll be a little bit more high rolly, but I definitely think like Vera versus Cecilia is probably like the best iteration. Will it'll be good? I have no idea, but I think you could probably do a lot more with Cecilia Reverse in than just having both Cecilias. Master Wisteria, when it's placed on Vanguard or Rearguard Circle, costs +1, discard, and call up to 2 plant tokens. Then choose one of your other units, search your deck to 1 card with the same card name as that unit, reveal it, put it to your hand, and shuffle your deck. And in all Vanguard Rearguard, when its unit attacks, Soul Blast 1, choose one of your units, and all your units with the same card name as that unit get +5k till in turn. If this unit is on Vanguard, they get +10 instead of 5. Yeah, he sucks. I'm sorry, but it's like he technically, with his on place is a +2. but the +2 is really just the plant tokens, and you have nothing else on board. You basically just like, you basically don't get the second effect, so you just really just like break even, quote unquote. But the plant tokens don't really do anything, so they're basically irrelevant. And the power is only when he attacks, and all use the same names that you, to get plus 5k. But it has to be on Vanguard for 10k. I don't know what deck you would run Master Wisteria in to be like, oh, all these units get plus 10k and get big. This very much seems like a, you literally just don't like any of the decks, but you want to play Master Wisteria because it was your favorite card for some reason. I want you to name me a Neo Nectar player that actually likes Master Wisteria. And please let me know. Arboros? You play an Arboros? I feel like you'd rather do literally anything else. Also Peony? Peony calls things like, I don't know what deck you would fit this in. I guess you could put this in like Arboros and Peony, but I'd rather run anything other than Arboros and Peony. Not because I don't like them, but they need more help than what they got. That's my thing. I don't think Master Wisteria is going to save Arboros and Peony. Trailing Rose. Budget Trailing Rose? I guess. But I don't know. I feel like they'd rather just done Venus Trap. I'd rather you have this be Venus Trap, because at least it would make sense somehow for main nubs and premium, right? This just doesn't do anything to me. And then Augusto. What was his original version? I forgot. Oh, he's the Toki attacker. He was the Toki attacker. That's what it was. Not Zero. Get out of here. I should remember that. When its unit is placed on rear guard or put on Guardian Circle, retire one or more other back row rear guards. And its unit gets power plus 5k, shield plus 5k for each unit retired for this cost. Then, if you retire 2 more units for this cost, put 2 normal units of Musketeer in their card names from your drop on the bottom of your deck in any order and draw a card. Oh boy. I guess. I mean, if I think this is more for no, it's not. I would say like the power plus 5k, shield plus 5k is more for probably like non-musketeer decks, so it's trying to be generic there. But you're telling me to retire. So it's like, okay, I play it, I retire like 2 plant tokens. Get plus 10k power. And then I draw a card. I feel like, I don't know, I think I've had my own like idea, because I wanted the I wanted the grade 2 or at least the grade 1 that had the ability to like, probably like, hey, you sack the card you do, sack these 2, probably like get a card from the top 3 and call it, right? As like a battle phase call, right? I wish that would have been the case instead of this, because I just don't think Augusto is really that good. I think you could probably do something in premium with it, maybe, I'm not sure, but it's just a miss to me. So I guess overall, what do I think of Clan Collection Volume 4? I think it's not as bad as I originally thought. I still think like the whole set overall is some mid, but there's a lot of like actually like good. I really don't like putting on my glasses. there's a lot of actually like pretty good support cards in this set that just really help and work with the deck, with the decks they're meant to be in, which is fine, right? I think the winners are probably, like I said, uh, um, probably Nubatama, Tachikaze easily, and if I choose three, I say like Tachikaze, Nubatama, and Gears. I think those three, from a first like look standpoint, I think those three are the best in the entire set. If I were to give like the least three, I'd go Great Nature, Granblue, Blink Joker. Somehow, Brainy, Popular, Max Speed make up for Ethics Buster being the most like crack-headed thing possible. I I say that pretty much. Everyone else is just like, you're there, and you're gonna have to test everything. So you say Nubatachi, Gears, and Neo Nectar. I say like Neon should be a fourth, right? So we did set four. Let's start off with a Clan Collection Volume 3. Let's do it backwards. So Volume 3, I think if we looked at Volume 3 and 4, I think, oh god, why does this keep doing this to myself? So that's it. We go 3 at a time. Yeah, we'll go 3 at a time, just that my computer doesn't just have a seizure as we go. I think if I can go through and just remember which clans are in here. I think this is probably like on par with set 4, maybe be just slightly worse. But I think just like going back again will probably just like help me figure things out. So we're starting off with Royal Paladin, and we're going with Jewel Knights. First up is leading Jewel Knight Salome. Grade 3. At the end of the battle's unit attack, cost Counterblast 1. Choose a number of cards with Jewel Knight in your card name from your hand, and call them to rearguard with units. Then if you call 3 more cards, and your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, Soul Blast 4 will stand as unit. And in auto, Vanguard rearguard, when your other unit is placed on this unit's circle, cost Counterblast 1, and that placed unit gets power plus 10k, drive plus 1 till end of turn. So we're all agreeing that this is pretty much better than Saint Guard in a sense, right? Because this feels like what they should have done with Saint Guard is like you don't just have a completely vanilla turn. It's like Salome is just Salome by herself is just really good. She, at the end of battle she attacks, Counterblast 1, choose any number you called. Choose at least 3 Jewel Knights, probably. Maybe if you're going first and you don't have a opponent being grade 3, you can probably call like 1 or 2. You can probably call 2, and like call them to rear, and then you would pop. You would do what was it? I guess the term I've kind of like considered the break call. Where it's like you just like place over unit, and then the unit gets an effect because of the place unit, and you just get value off of that. So I guess it's called break calls from now on. So you enable more break calls, you get multi attacks, and if your opponent's greater, you can now, in a deck that I actually really does get a lot of souls, especially since you're going to be trying to re-ride constantly. You'd get the soul pretty easily. I think there's a lot of soul charters in Jewel Knights. So you get the Soul Blast Spore and restand it. So you get 6. You can pretty much get like maybe 6 attacks and then just some other stuff. I forgot what Ashley did. I think Ashley gives you a crit. So if you actually get a crit on your turn, then you call this again. Say like you go second, you ride. Say you go first, you ride Ashley. Then go second, you ride this, and then you basically just slam face. I think that's really good. I think Salome is fantastic. Different fight wins this round. And then Sybil. When it attacks, put a grade 2 or less card from hand to your soul, draw a card. And when your unit is placed on this unit circle, look at top 3 and choose the one grade 2 or less card with Jewel Knight, call into rear, and put the rest of the bibliotheca in order. So if you need to put another extender, right? So if you're able to like, does Ashley allow you to get another like call? So like you can't really like go off as much as you want. You could probably like say, oh, call this, get another grade 2, and you. Oh hey, thank you for the follow. That actually worked. I'm surprised. So effectively, yeah, I say this has a lot of like value in premium as well with the what should we call it, the Crystal Luster. Yeah, you get Crystal Luster, and it's a lot of extension that can do it just does a lot. Also, grade 2 less cover hand soul. Salome needs soul. Already good. Pretty good, won't lie. So that's it. And then last of the Jewel Knights is Fruiting Jewel Knight Eunice. At the end of the battle, this unit boosted. Put a normal unit from your drop to the bottom of your deck. And Soul Charge 1, you may return this unit to your hand. And when your other unit is placed on this unit circle, choose your opponent's rear guard the same columns that you place the unit and retire it. If nothing was retired, you draw. Yeah. I say like starting off, Jewel Knights are just increasing like power based on what they originally had in the last time they got the support. This is more what I mean when I say like these decks need more support than what they're originally given. I say the original Jewel Knight versions were really nice, but the issue was you could never the issue is you only had like 12 Jewel Knights. You could, unless you play premium, but we're talking about standard. I mean V, you only had 12 Jewel Knights. Same with some of these other decks, right? Like I think Amon would be great if it had more support, which I'm pretty sure it's gonna get. So it's more a matter of time. And I kind of want to talk about that when we get to the end. But I say for a first outing, like Jewel Knights, for the first outing of set 3, outstanding. All right, on to OTT, and we've got witches. We've got Yo-Yo, skill, auto, Vanguard Circle, or from a rear guard. At the end of the battle, your Vanguard with Witch in its card name attacked a grade 3 or greater. If it's the first battle of this turn, cost counter+1 and discard 2 cards from your hand. Choose up to 1 grade 3 card with Witch in its card name from hand and write it as stamp. When this unit is wrote upon, call this card to a rear guard circle or get a magic gift protect. They really just said fuck Kagero in there. Excuse my language, but at this point I have to say it. They really just, you literally made a better Kagero. This is literally a better, this is literally Kagero, but better. Let's go through it. Your Vanguard Witch, which there's like two other grade 3 witches. There's Coco and what's her name. So you already have that. It's had the grade 3 battle. It was the first battle of the turn. Okay, that condition's still there. And the grade 3 or greater is still there. But +1, discard 2. Choose up the grade 3 witch and discard from hand right as stand. Hey, Ed the Charisma, thank you for the follow. So you're telling me that you basically did the same thing as the Tachikaze, but you didn't lock your board for no reason. Meaning you didn't call 5 cards of trash just to get locked for no reason. You didn't discard additional 2. Don't Megacolony yet. No, it's actually at the end, I think. Let me check. Where's Megas at the end of this? No, this is the wrong one. Yeah, Megas are at the end. That's it. Yeah, Megas are at the end. So it'll be like one of the last clans. Let's see. So this makes me upset more so that Tachikaze Reverse got screwed so hard. Just for that. And it's kind of like really sad. Because I think Yo-Yo is actually pretty cool. Honestly. And when it's wrote upon, you call it or get protect. So you mitigate the loss you took. Besides just the protect. Right? So you gotta get another rear guard. Or you get another protect marker. In addition to the protect mark you already got. So wow, it's almost like they made Tachikaze Reverse intentionally trash for no reason. Yeah, I say Yo-Yo's good. Tete. Next. Auto, when this card is discarded from your hand during your turn, if you have a Vanguard Witch, Soul Blast 1 and call this to rear. Okay. I forgot what. Oh yeah, you basically just get this for free value. And when this unit is put on Guardian Circle, choose any number of Sentinels from your hand, discard them, and this gets plus 2,000 shield to end a battle for each of those cards. Look at that, a way to make the Sentinels in your hand in a bad matchup like Angels, where your Sentinels are literally useless. We're scared of Night Rose, so Tachikaze's gotta be bad. Why would Night Rose be so scary that you make another card bad? I don't get it. So that they really did not like Tachikaze. So yeah, it's really just like, man, y'all like either give me a grade 2 that gets 20k shield for each of those cards you discarded, right? It's like say 2, 4, discard 2 Sentinels, the 2 you got from Yo-Yo skill. Shield plus 20k makes your deck defensive, including your other Sentinels in your main deck. So you get 45k shield on this grade 2. Just they already made. So already listen, I think this should be saying we're 2 clans in to this to volume 3, and I'm already kind of like, man, this is such a good start. This is such a good start to what they were doing. And then Mumu. Auto, when his unit is rode upon by a unit which is named, draw a card. Okay, pretty good. Rearguard Circle, Soul Blast 1 and rest this unit. Look at top 5. Choose up to 3 cards of which in your card name from among them. Reveal them. Choose 1, put into your hand, and shuffle your deck. If you did not reveal 3, put this unit into your soul. I mean, just good, really. There's nothing really to say. Just a really good card. Hold on. Yeah, I really don't have anything else to say for Mumu. I think It was just a nice, good support card that gets you cards you need. Again, we're 2 clans in to selection 3, and this is already seeming like a much better deck than anything. So, all right, here we go. Himiko Reverse. Auto hand. At the end of your turn, if you have a Vanguard with Himiko in its card name, and your trigger effects were activated 2 more times this turn, cost, you have 1 more rear guards, put all of them into your soul, and write this card at rest. And auto Vanguard Circle must return when this unit attacks or is attacked. Cost +1, draw a card, choose a critical trigger or draw a trigger from your soul, and put it on your rear guard circle as a locked card. If you put a card, activate its trigger effect once for each of your locked cards. Critical or draw once per turn. Okay, now they've read the full skill again. Only have 1 card for you? Yeah, I can see that. There'll probably be like a lot more cool cards. I hope. Oh god, I hope. So review of Himiko. It's good, right? When it's attacked, you offensively, defensively, +1. You probably, like, if you're offensively, you choose a crit, or defensively, you choose to draw, put on your rear guard circle, activate the trigger effect. And I think what's also hilarious is, like, you do, you're against Link Choker. Against Link Choker, you pretty much say, oh, you locked on my board? Okay, on my board with 1 random circle, 2 circles. Call draw. I draw 3. 30k defense. What you gonna do? And then offensively, it's like, oh, I put my Vanguard like a bunch of crits. I give my Vanguard a bunch of crit. Now you have to guard with PGs, and you only get 4. I don't care how much chaos draws. Like, there's only so much you can do with a 63k Himiko with 4 crit after a certain point in time. Especially since you can just re-loop Himiko over and over again. I like Himiko. I do like Himiko. Though I feel like she would work more in premium than in standard. But yeah, she's nice. She's nice. Yatagarasu. Also, I don't think I ever saw the art all the way. Yeah, that's really clean art. I like that. I like this artist. Auto Vanguard, when its unit attacks, +1 and Soul Blast 3, and perform all the following according to the sum of the grades of the card's Soul Blast for this cost. 5 or more, all your front. Why did I do that? All your frontward units get +10k till end of turn. 7 or more, stand to your rear guards. 9 or more, draw 2 cards. And Vanguard, when your unit is placed on guard circle, cost Soul Blast 3, and that unit gets shield +10 until end of battle. See, this is what I'm talking about. If you're going to have a second grade 3 as the main one you're doing, at least have it be its own build. Like, at least have like its own build or something to help support. Or like the clan has been enough generic. I think the clan has some decent generics where you could be like, oh, you know, yeah, I could build a Yada deck. I know like a lot of people love Yada more than Himiko, which I understand, right? Look at this artwork, it's gorgeous. But secondly, like, yeah, the skill just to be like, oh, a Soul Blast 3, my front gets +10, I stand 2 rear guards and draw 2. If I like sack if I like Soul Charge a lot. And it has a defensive skill too of Soul Blast 3, like random things, and you get shield +10k. It's not a once per turn too. Like, Yada is just really good, and it's like I see this like as a really good like potential card for being like an actual like, competitive card in this game. So I say Yada's a win. And then next we have Applewood Cider. At the end of the battle, as unit boosted, you may Soul Charge 1 and return you to hand, or Soul Charge 2. Yeah, you know what? That's fine. Soul Charge, potential Soul Charge 2, or you Soul Charge 1 and bounces to use defensive skills. And when this unit put on Guardian Circle, cost, put a card from your hand into your soul, and you get shield plus 5k until end battle for every 3 cards you soul. The offensive card that you can use as a booster, I'd say that's an absolute win. A much better version than the original Cider, and it's just like pretty good. There's just no, pretty good. Just like if you want to keep it on board, Soul Charge 2. If you want to bounce it for more defensive, like for more like decks where you need to go against like decks you go against that need more defensive skills, yeah, you bounce it and it gets shield plus 5k. You use it with Yada, gets maybe 15k. A lot, you just blast out a bunch of soul. You have a similar thing. Okay, okay, now that I'm looking back on this, we're 3 sets in. We're 3 clans in, really. And all these so far have actually been really kind of, have had like really, really good stuff that doesn't seem like a giant waste of time. So I know something's gonna mess up. Oh, easy. Kagero's next. And Murakumo. Oh, Jesus. And Oh, no. We're in danger. Alright, let's get out the way. Alright, next is Kagero. Dauntless Dominate Dragon Reverse. When your drive check reveals a normal unit, cost Counterblast 1 and put that card in your rearguard circle as a locked card. If you put a card, this unit gets power plus 10k, drive plus 1 till end of that battle. Auto Vanguard the circle, and the end of the battle this unit attacked, cost Soul Blast 1, unlock all of your locked cards, and retire those units. For each of those retired units, your opponent performs choose 3 of your rearguards and retire them. If 2 more cards are not retired, choose a marker from your circles and remove it. You know what? That's a really good conceptual like ability. It's, you know, at the end of battle attacked, you Soul Blast, you know, unlock the potential, like maybe you had like, say you had 1 and you got a first skill, you get a normal unit, Counterblast 1, get another drive, you know, you hit, I don't know, say like you go and got 1, you lock the 1, retire it, then your opponent sacks 3. If they can't, they choose, you know, they have to remove a marker, say it's like Force or Excel. Does, you know, I think the only thing is like you don't hit the protects, but like they're probably using the protect on this, so that's fine. It's like you get rid of Excel, then if you're on Dauntless Drive, you've restood, now you do it again, probably like you whiff, you do 2 normal units, you do it again, you get rid of more Excel circles, you get a bunch of things. This is how, to me, this is how like the Dauntless is how I feel the actual like reverse unit should be, because they should be able to work in tandem. Same with Cecilia, right? Cecilia's able to work in tandem with the original Cecilia, and Dauntless works with the original reverse, but they don't straight up like cripple the deck to do so. As opposed to Cocytus, where you literally just lose, where you just get crapped on because you played it. Like Dauntless is fine. Dauntless is actually good, and I'm cool with that. And Kagero does have actual like decent generics, so you're not just screwed by not having anything. I'm happy with Dauntless Reverse. Blazing Flare, who finally comes through. Kagero got three grade 3s, by the way. So that premium collection stride that gives grade 3s like 10k power or something for each card retired, like, is starting to look really good right now. Act Vanguard Rear, once per turn, cost Soul Blast 1 more cards. Choose one of your opponent's rear guards for each Soul Blast 1 pay for this cost and retire it. If this unit is on Vanguard Circle and Soul Blast 5 more is paid for this cost, your opponent removes all the markers from their circles and protects from their hands. So if this is your Vanguard and you use Soul Blast 5, you basically like burn your opponent's field. You burn it all down and yeet their protect markers. So this is how you pretty much kind of how you do it. It's like, okay, even if I don't restand, I'm at least getting rid of your defenses, right? You know, a whole 3 attack deck. Because to use it, you have to be on Blazing Fair, meaning like you're pretty much stuck on a 3 attack deck unless you broke road on Darkness Drive. So, you know, you get rid of the markers and everything, and you just go stupid. I think Dauntless Blazing Flare might be a conceptual deck now. And then Auto Vanguard Rear, when its unit attacks, Soul Charge 1, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, if you have no rear guards, this gets plus 10k to end that battle. And I think this is also how you can like be like, okay, we'll give you some grade 3 things, right? Some grade 3 or greater. Like, we're not just like hard slamming you with a bunch of power. Just like, here, we'll lock at least something. I'm fine with you locking something over grade 3 or greater. But if the deck is literally useless without it, don't do that. Find something else to lock behind grade 3 or greater. But just let the deck actually work to do so. And then Dragonic Lawkeeper. Auto, Vanguard Circle. At the start of each battle phase, Counter Blast 1, Soul Blast 1. Your opponent chooses one of their rear guards for every 3 of yours and their rear guards, and binds it. At the end of that turn, your opponent calls the cards bound by this effect to rear guard circle. Your opponent's auto abilities do not activate from this call. 3 years in their rear guards, and binds it. So it's like you got a full. Right, so full board, they have to remove 3, and they call them back at the end of the turn. So sorry, like get rid of the back row or one of your front row. Start each battle phase meaning your opponent's turn, right? So that means it's kind of like a temporary retire. So that means they lose their boosters, or they have to give up. They have to fully commit to not lose a lot of their attacks to make sure they just. So they have to either like don't commit at all, or they have to fully commit to kind of counter this. And then continuous Vanguard. If your opponent has no back row rear guards, all units get power plus 5k. Then if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, if they have no rear guards, they get 5k. Active on your opponent's turn 2. All of units. See, this is what I'm talking about. This right here is, man, I don't know why, but it's looking like the version 3, set 3 is looking a lot better than set 4. Because at the very least, like, even if they're not like better than like the originals, they do something different that isn't just detrimental to the entire deck. To the deck or like a build. You can make a Lawkeeper build and just be like, I'm just gonna control you. You can't hit me hard. I got a bunch of power defensively. And then I could probably go into something and just like win the game there. I say that's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Blazing Flare, just straight up like Soul Blast 5, you can just hard rip out your opponent's entire like defensive, all their protects or their markers. Okay, makes you want to build cargo. Yeah, like a lot of this is how there was a lot more interesting stuff. This reminds me of the V Clan Collection 1 and 2, which I really liked because they did a lot of cool stuff. The V Clan Collection, the original V Clan selection, just had a lot of like cool stuff I really liked that never felt like they just hard hit the deck. Most of them. So you have that. So I say Kagero. Kagero is okay. I'm not mad at Kagero. Kagero is fine. 3 potential different builds for a clan. That isn't just you're gonna go Lord 10,000 more times. And they've technically used their reverse, so maybe next time we don't get another reverse. Oh, who can? All right, Yaki Vogue, Murakumo time. Let's see it. This card's recorded is Yaki Vogue, so that's good for a premium and V. So that's 8 Hyaki Vogues, meaning your deck is much more powerful than some of those other cards supports. Act Vanguard Circle once per turn. Soul Blast 1. Search your deck for up to 3 cards with the same card name as this unit. Call them to Rearguard Circle and shuffle your deck. Then choose the same number of your Rearguards as the number of call units and lock them. So you effectively plus 3 for a Soul Blast. Because it's also called as Hyaki Vogue. So you can call this, you can call the other Hyaki Vogues, and just call this out. And just call them out. And those regular Hyaki Vogue has a bunch of rearguard circles that just straight up like give you discard power, just punch. That's one of the things that made Hyuga so powerful, was just that the board just got a bunch of power because of Hyaki combined with everything. And then auto Vanguard Circle, when your locked card is unlocked, put a rear guard in the bottom of your deck, choose one of your rear guards to your hand. So just yeah. See it straight up. Okay. Yeah, sorry. I looked at Discord for a second. I'm gonna be honest. I do like Hyaki Vogue reverse. I like Hyaki Vogue reverse. Doesn't really seem like a mistake. I think just you pretty much just lose the back row, which is fine, I guess. You lose the back row, which is fine. I think that's cool. So next is Platinum Blonde Fox Spirit Tamamo. When this card is revealed for your drive check, you may call this card a rearguard circle. Okay. It's like that one grade 3 that was in like the first Murakumo set. It's like that one grade in that first Murakumo set, which is like, if you drive check this, call me. But it was like 9K. So like you have this on an actual 12K body that can actually like has 2 other skills. Already better. When this unit is placed on rear guard, choose a unit card from your drop and change this unit to that card name of that card until end of turn. So if there's like a AoE like power boost, Tamamo, you drive check it, call it, Tamamo then becomes that card's name. So it becomes, it just becomes like a generic version of that. It's just a generic name copier that recycles that card. So that's already good. And plus, it's a unit card. If you don't even want to copy the name, you can choose a trigger, put that at the bottom deck, and you. Oh wait, no, you don't put it on the bottom deck. I don't know. I don't know where I read that, but the name is actually pretty good. And then auto Vanguard rear. When this unit attacks, if you have 3 more rear guards with Stealth Fiend in a different card names, Soul Blast 1, this unit gets power plus 10k, drive plus 1 till end of battle. At the end of that battle, its unit on rear guard circle, it turns you to your hand. So it's able to bounce itself to then call again to copy the name again, and you got another 12k. Is it bad that for the Stealth Fiend deck, I'd rather write this? Like, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I'd rather just have this as my main Vanguard instead of, like, whatever they gave us last time. Like, this is a very good support card for that deck. But I think I'd rather just write this as my main grade 3 instead of that one. I just think this one is just a much more like smoother build. I'm just not constantly like negging myself just because. I think Tamamo is good. I think the issue is the Stealth Fiend deck is just a mess. So I think Tamamo is a good card. I'm not mad at it. I think it's a good like support card for that. And then we get Special Stealth Beast Weasel Black. When this unit is placed on a Vanguard circle, search your deck for up to 1 Special Stealth Beast Weasel Red. Call it to rear shuffle deck. What did Weasel Red do? When placed, canvas 1, discard a number of cards in your hand. Search your deck for the same number of cards special in their card name as the number of cards discarded from your hand. Call the rare shuffle your deck. Oh, so it's basically just like it's the card that calls all the other weasels. Okay, I see. So on place you just get an Excel circle, you draw, then you get the card that just straight up like pulls your entire board on the field. Okay. And then continuous Vanguard, all your units special in the card names get power plus 2k, shield plus 5k. So to get, even if they're Vanguard circle, they're 10k shields, 15k shields, plus 2k, so the full board gets plus 2k. An auto Vanguard circle, when its unit attacks a grade 3 or greater Vanguard, costs Counterblast 1 and put 4 normal units from your drop on the bottom of your deck in any order. Choose with the 4 your grade 2 or less rear guards with special in their different card names and stand them. Okay, I see this synergy now. So when you write it, say like you go first, you write this, you get the weasel that allows you to just grab a bunch of cards, grab you all your all your weasels. You get it from your deck, call it to rear. Then use the weasel to probably like discard like 3 or 4, send it to the drop, and then you get your weasels. They get plus 2k, shield plus 5k to be more defensive because you just probably discarded 2 or 3. And then you just have like 4 attacks turn 3. Your opponent, go through your opponent's turn. Then next turn, you probably re-ride, get another Weasel Red, call it, and then when it attacks the Vanguard, Counterblast 1, restand your front row because you probably have had like 2 Excel markers, and then you restand them. You recover the 4 cards you probably discard to do so. It's 4 normal units, which is like the only like real bad part of the skill. But it's like you just get a full bunch of restand, which is really nice. I think the really bad part about this card is like the other weasels aren't as like great. They don't really do much of anything, and him being 8k doesn't help either. The 8k is probably like the deal breaker for some people. I like the deck idea. I'm glad they finally got like a main weasel to actually like be a good card. But I think the deck itself just, I don't know. I think just the 8k might be the deal breaker defensively. At least you can fit Shiryuki in it, so hey. So I would say this. I'm Murakumo somehow wasn't completely trash when you think about it. It's not great, but it's right. It's another like we gave two decks. We made a new deck. Gave like two new deck builds. We made a new deck build. We completed another one and gave support to another one we released earlier. I wouldn't say that's a loss. I say that's pretty good. Alright, here we go. Pants Dragon. Dungaree. Which is now good in Vanguard 0, by the way. If you still play that. Dungaree, 17k power. With triple drive. Critical 2. Here we go. Auto, Vanguard Circle. At the start of your battle phase, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, you may bind the top card of your deck. Okay. Auto, Vanguard Rearguard. When this unit attacks, put all the cards from your bind zone into your drop. Perform all the following actions according to the number of cards put. This effect is mandatory. 2 or less. This unit gets power minus 10,000, critical -1, drive -2 until end of turn. 4 or more. Your opponent chooses a card from their hand and binds it. 5 or more. You choose up to 3 cards from your drop, return them to your deck, and shuffle it. So obviously, the whole thing is to hit 4 or more. 4 more cards from your bind to the drop, and such you not only keep the 17k triple drive 2 crit, but you can also just bind a card from their hand. I think the 4 more is pretty steep for that. Steep for that, but I need to look at the other two. Exorcist Mage Renren. Auto, when this unit is rode upon, costs counterblast 1. You get 2 cards from the top of your deck. Choose 1 card from among them, bind it, and put the rest to your hand. Okay, the first skill when you go from grade 2 to grade 3, counterblast 1, check top 2, add 1 to hand, add 1 to the bind. Okay. Add to Dungaree, so we already have 1 count. Add to Rearguard, counterblast 1, bind top card of your deck, so it keeps binding. And for each grade of the card bound for this cost, this gets plus 5k until the end of turn. But if you bound a grade 0, you draw. For a Dungaree card, not bad. I like it. It's, it gets a bunch of power, but if you hit a trigger, you just get a draw. Yeah, I guess the 4 more could be fine. I think my issue is more like the 2 or less. But I'll get to that later. And then last we have Escher's Mage Mew Mew. They're all new Escher's Mage. I didn't notice that. Auto, when it's used rode upon, look at top card of your deck, bind it or put it on top of your deck. So you get a Scry. You should probably bind it rather. And an Active Rearguard. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 2 or greater, cost Soul Blast 1, bind a card from your hand and draw a card. Pretty much how you're gonna get a lot of your Dungaree cards on the board. So that's 1 bind from her skill, 1 bind for his skill, and then start a battle phase, you bind 3. So you got 3. The issue is getting the 4th one so that you can use the actual good skill. So you really just need an additional copy. So I know that like the Vanquisher cards, I know there's some Vanquisher support cards that actually bind themselves or bind cards to actually get advantage. So I could definitely see, like, so it definitely doesn't have the problem the old Dungaree had, where after he uses his specific skill, not just what was the original Dungaree, the original, not the Zero version, because I know the original was the most booty cheeks one ever. Let me break forward. Camus when choose card bound with this card's effect. Put it on your deck with this card's effect. Right? That's what made this deck, this Dungaree so bad was, right? Bind to that. So you had the re-ride, but if you re-rode, re-rode him, you effectively just lost. You couldn't, if you re-rode him before, yeah, like, if you re-rode him before he used his 2 units, you just lost out of a card forever. But if you use both units, you just got minus 2k. And that's the biggest issue with Dungaree originally, was like, the specific Dungaree you used, effectively, if you rewrote it, you just lost out on cards forever. Meaning, and also because of the fact, right, that was bound with this card's effect. This specific card. Remember, that was the ruling. Do we have the ruling? No, we don't. Why not? So, yeah, bind 2 cards on top of your deck. Even if you use those 2 cards from that one, and you had another one bind, you couldn't use it. That's why, like, the V Dungaree is just already better. Every Dungaree since then has just been better, because you can still use the bound cards. So, I'm saying this probably, like, as Copium or, you know, Hopium, but it's like, Dungaree is not out of the woods. Dungaree is not in a position where the next wave could hurt him. Like, just one good wave, and this card could be, like, really, really crazy. He's not terrible. I think a Dungaree Unlimited might actually, like, work. Speaking of which, another thing is the Seal Demon Dragon. They found a way to put the seal in its mechanics without it being literally, like, the most annoying thing possible. So it's not bad. Not bad. All right. It's It's time for Saber Zero. For Dimension Police, we got original Saber Zero. Has 0 power. Force marker, grade 3 twin drive. Has the skill when its unit attacks from Vanguard Circle or is rode upon. Costs Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1. Draw a card. Choose one of your opponent's units and increase or decrease its power to 0 at the end of turn. Power becomes 0 at that time. So, say you fish with, what's it called? Brad Black? Say you fish with Brad Black, you attack first, you hit, they hit a defensive. Okay, I will ride into 0, and I will set their power back to 0. I'll get an extra draw to compensate for the ride. And now I've reset the game, meaning the defensives are easier to hit over, quite literally. So and it's like, that's pretty good, and I like this. And in Auto Vanguard Circle, when this unit is attacked, cost discard a grade of your hand and increase or decrease the attacking unit's critical to 0 to end that battle. Critical becomes 0 at that time. And it has a defensive skill to at least hold you out for the turn in which you probably, like, pump him in a ride. So that when you re-ride, because you're Dimension Police in V, you can get a bunch of your grade 3s immediately. You re-ride, you counter one, soul one, draw a card again, and reset their power to 0, now you just go sicko mode and just punch them constantly. So it's like, it's the 0 power is like the biggest issue, because if your opponent can just make a bunch of power, get a bunch of power, and just hit you multiple times, you're going to probably get smacked in the mouth. So it's kind of the trade-off of basically just like resetting your opponent's Vanguard to 0 and you smacking them in the mouth. You now effectively get hit back. And usually in Vanguard you don't want to get hit back, but the fact that there is a skill that's like, hey, if you're playing again, I hate using it, it's like Gavril, right? They hit you with the grade 3 that just like prevents sentinels. You discard grade 3, set that to 0. It doesn't matter. I like 0. I like 0. He's not terrible, and I think he's cool. I think he's cool. Endless Float is the grade 2. When it's used as rolled upon, choose one of your vanguards and gets plus 10k till end of turn. Then discard a card from hand and call this card to rearguard circle. So, you give your vanguard plus 10, and then you can discard probably a useless card or like a grade 3 that you're not gonna ride. Call it to rearguard. Just get another like card on board. When its unit attacks, if your grade 3 unit was placed this turn, just in general, this gets plus 5k until end of that battle. Then retires the unit, draw a card. I think the retired part is kind of like, but I do like that it does at least replace itself. I think 0 is a fun common piece of 0. I kind of agree with you there. I think it's definitely like a more, would I say more generic Zeal, or more like, I don't know what I would say. It's like 0 is definitely like a card that is generic enough where you could just pretty much just use it in anything. But you gotta know what you're doing. You gotta know what you're doing with 0, I think, is the biggest thing. Because otherwise you could just straight up get clapped if you make the wrong mistake. And this float is okay. Could be better. And then Eternity Chaser. When rode upon, discard card from your hand, choose up to one grade 3 normal unit from your hand and reveal it. A revealed card, subject to one grade 3 with a different card name, reveal and put your hand shuffle your deck. That's That effect is I feel like there's better like grade 1s to ride that you'd rather have priority riding than just happiness. In the back row, when your opponent's rearguard attacks, that unit's power is 25k or less, Soul Blast won't retire. Choose one of your units that cannot be hit to end the battle. I think the back row skill is very defensive. Helps you like not die for staying on 0 for a turn. And yeah, I think more so you'd rather have, if nothing else, for the ability of just like having another PG, so you're not just getting clapped constantly because you rode 0. I think Eternity Chase is a better rear guard, but I like the idea here. All right, Deadly Emperor Reverse. Auto Vanguard. When your rear guard is put into your deck during your battle phase, lock a rear guard and stand until end of turn. This unit gets power plus 10,000. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, cost, discard a card from your hand, and this unit gets power plus 1. Auto Vanguard Circle. When this unit attacks, you have no grade 2 or less units. Cost Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1. Search your deck for up to one normal unit, call to open Vanguard Circle, and shuffle your deck. I don't remember what proof of thought about this, but I have my thoughts. Sand, this gets plus 10k. Card from your hand, gives you plus 1. So I think having the discard get drive plus 1 being the grade 3 locked part, I'm not a fan of. Maybe I don't know if it needed a grade 3 restriction, but I definitely don't think it's in the discard a card get dry plus 1. So that's something. I do think the node grade 2 less units, combo missile plus 1, call to open rear shuffle. I think it's also a fine skill. I forget what the original ability did. I know it had something where you, whereas like if it was rolled upon, you get an effect. So I think you could do something with like this rising and like the old Dudley and just kind of go crazy. I think this is definitely more generic than the other Dudley, than Dudley Emperor regular, because that one really needed a bunch of Dudleys. Whereas this one is more just use literally whatever dog. Wow. Definitely an interesting card. Then we have Agile Fullback. Agile Fullback auto. When this unit is placed on the back row center rear guard until end of turn, this unit can attack from the back row. And if the unit is placed by a card's ability, it gets power plus 10k. At the start of your main phase, put this unit into your soul, so you should have one Agile Fullback called the Rear Shuffle deck. It's very much like it's like a mix between, Juggernaut Maximum, the ones that like you replace it by putting the soul and calls another copy and call it to the back row, and then you gets power plus 10, so it's 20k beater, and it helps like if you've locked your front row because your position was janked, you have another attack to come through. I like Agile. I like him a lot. He's not a full replacement for like a Bracky, but I don't think he's not full. He's not a complete redo of Bracky, but Bracky has kind of been yeeted from the deck for a while. So he's like a reimagined Bracky for modern times, I guess you could say. And then you have Machine Gun Gloria. When it's retired from Guardian Circle, Combos 1 called to open rear. So basically, Combos 1, after you guarded with it, call it back to use the rear guard. And at the end of battle, the unit boosted the rear guard. Put 2 rear guards in the same cost unit on the bottom of your deck in any order and draw. So it's a trigger to activate Dudley Emperor versus skill. I think it also like gets rid of the columns that you can set. You're going against like a Kagero or a Narukami, which want to like pop your rear guards. You basically just turn those 2 into a draw. They're not retired; they go to the bottom of the deck. I think the only real issue is the fact that this is a Counterblast 1 to do it. It's not like a full complete piece, but I think it's fine. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for Spikes. I'm not upset with Spikes. They're okay. Did my screen froze? What? Oh, I just noticed that froze. Oh. Hello? Hello? Hold on just a sec. Let's look at refresh. Okay, it's back. It's good. All right, we're back. Yeah, that froze for some reason. Yeah, I like okay. Okay. So that's Spikes. All right, time for the Sims. All right, y'all. I mean, not the. Oh no, time for the redacted. I forgot that's a no word next to the C word. All right, Silverthorn Dragon Queen Lugia Reverse. At Vanguard Soul. Once per turn. Maybe about Vanguard and Lugia in his card name. Counter Blast 1. Lock 3 rear guards with different grades. If this unit's on Vanguard Circle, choose up to 3 cards with Silverthorns in their card names in different grades from your soul and call them to Rearguard Circle. It is cards in your soul. Ride this card as stand. If you ride from soul by this ability, you may use this ability again on Vanguard Circle. Continuous Vanguard Circle. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, all your front row units get power plus 3k for each of your lost cards. I can't believe I'm going to say this. This is probably the best Lugia. This is probably the best Lugia released in V. Because, to be honest, the original is now too overcosted and is basically just a giant beat stick. And Venus is trying to be the original Andorian combined, but poorly. This is pretty much the best one. This is somehow the best Lugia. And it locks 3 rear guards with different grades. Right? It's like you somehow, because, say it's on, if it's in your soul, you re-ride, you get an extra cell marker, you draw a card, and you can lock Dorian to then put them all in the soul and draw again. If this is on your Vanguard, you do it again, get 3 Silverthorns with different grades called the rear, and if it's greater, your front gets more power. And the grade 3 or greater skill is actually not bad either. Because Silverthorns actually do have power scaling naturally with like the dragon and Lugia, the original Lugia herself, you have something there to actually make use of the power for that, and then you have more finishing power. Somehow Lugia actually was good here. So I'm not a fan of Lugia as a card. I think visually, like, let's be honest here, she's very attractive, but I'm not really like a big Lugia fan. But she's good. She's pretty solid. I'm not upset. I will say a friend of mine did get upset reading Marichka. He was not happy. But it's more because of premium stuff. But I digress. Auto, when his unit is placed on Vanguard Circle, counts Counter Blast 1 and Soul Charge 3. If you Soul Charge 2 more cards with Silverthorn in his card names, draw a card. Ain't not bad. Most of your deck is literally Silverthorns. So you basically like Soul Charge 3, draw a card, and if you hit Lugia reverse, oh, you're about to get sicko mode. You're about to go crazy. Auto, when this unit is placed on rear guard from Soul by the ability of Vanguard Silverthorn in its card name, so it's not even Lugia, just a Silverthorn, so the deck can work. It chooses one grade 2 greater card with Silverthorn in its card name from your Soul and call it to rear guard in the same column. So you place it from Soul, from regular Silverthorn, you choose a grade 2 or greater, call same column. If they got like a grade 2 or greater that had the ability to just straight up like boost, if you had like a grade 2 or greater that gained boost for something, I can definitely see like this becoming much better. Yeah, it's certain times. right? But I get it, right? The Oma Marichka is definitely like pretty good, and we know why Zero had to nerf her. So I definitely see like Marichka getting better with time. We might There's another wave, so we'll see what happens there. I think Marichka's fine. Ana is Ana. When it's rode upon by a unit with Silverthorn, counters 1. So the whole thing is pretty much you ride Marichka on top of Ana, use Marichka's skill first, Soul Charge 3, draw a card. Then Ana counter charges, so you basically just got Soul Charge 3 draw for free. Makes sense. Pretty Kino, won't lie. And when this unit is placed on rearguard from Soul by ability to Vanguard with Silverthorn, and you did not countercharge this turn, put this unit in another rearguard with Silverthorn's card name into your Soul and countercharge 1. Anna's... I won't say she's useless. I think she's fine. I won't say situational like Simo, but I'll say like a lot of her actual value is the countercharge. So it basically means right, like if you haven't countercharged, say you put Ana back into Soul. Soul with like what, Dorian or something. And put a Soul, then use the Lukiers to call them out to make your skills work, and then probably next turn you use it again or whatever, get more counter charge. Right, you have a counter charger now, so I think Ana does her job. I just don't know if she does her job, and she does her job because she does her job. She does her job well. I hope next wave just boosts bunnies, dolls, and a generic card to go in Harry in a stage. Yeah, I can see that. Like, I don't think Silverthorns need that much more support. They're already out of Luke gears to use. Like, I'd say just probably like a 1-up for each of your archetypes, right? And I would say like you don't even need. Oh, it's not that person. I would say you don't even need to put give Harry anything, because they got that promo. Just put the promo in just re-put the promo in this set and help bunnies and dolls, and probably another generic card. Probably bunnies, dolls, and maybe another Silverthorn generic card, and I think you're set. I don't think you really need to do much. Bunnies, dolls, and probably a generic card, right? Yeah, they just got Paratrooper. Just reprint Paratrooper in the thing, same as Sansa for next wave, and I think you're good. I don't think you need to do much for Pale Moon next time. Alright, let's close out of here. Alright, and we're on the final 3 clans. Oh man, it's almost been 4 hours? Oh god. Okay, we got a Detonate Singer Reflede Rock. AKA, we have no idea if this is the locked version for Bermuda Triangle or not. Cowards. So we've got her skill, which is Auto Hand. At the end of the battle that your rearguard attacked, if you have a Vanguard Referade in his card name and a rearguard in rest, and all your circles with rearguards in rest have a force marker, cost Counterblast 2, ride this card to stand, rest all your rearguards, and move all your force markers to Vanguard Circle. In Auto Vanguard, at the end of your turn, remove all the force markers on your Vanguard Circle, and get Imaginary Gift Force for every 2 removed. Well, I'll say we'll see when we actually get info on that set. Probably next product stream. All right. So Referade Rock. she's fine. She works with the original. I would say like a restander is fine. As she becomes big, I, she's not bad. I think she's cool. She's cool, and you don't really have to jump through hoops to activate her skill, like uh, like any other reverses. I guess if she is the reverse, then we go by the other reverses, and I think she is probably one of the better ones. She doesn't. You don't have to jump through hoops to in her deck to make her work. And she, she's a restander. She doesn't really lose. She actually doesn't even lose card advantage, really. So it's like that's why she's really good. I think Rock is like a pretty good boss for a deck build if you want. Right? I think that's one of the better. I think it's one of the better things. We go to grade 2, and this card I've heard nonstop over the freaking Discord. When its unit is placed on Vanguard or rear, discard card of your hand, look at top 3, choose a 1 card among them, put into your hand, and put the rest in the bottom deck in any order. This gets plus 5k until end of turn. If your opponent's Vanguard is greater, it gets plus 10k instead. Why does it get power in general? I know the whole discard card in hand, but you check top 3 to get anything, and you stack the bottom of your deck, so it getting 5k, meaning you can hit by itself, or if your opponent's grade rare is 20k, it's kind of cracked. I'm not gonna lie, like. This card is actually like insane. Seria is actually insane, and it begged the question to like a lot of people. It's like, even if you did like choice restrict, wouldn't this be like a replacement for some of the cards that already exist? And yeah, it really is like it's basically just like a replacement for some. It's almost a better version of those cards in some way. Okay, I'm lying. It's not a better version of those cards completely, but this card is probably the only drawback that makes it better, but makes it worse. But even then, top 3 as opposed to chocolates like top 1 call and gets free power. Like this card is like overloaded, honestly. And Nikita, when its unit is placed on a rear guard circle or put on guard circle, Soul Blast 1 or more cards. And its unit gets power plus 5k, shield plus 5 until end of turn for each Soul Blast 1 paid for the cost. If Soul Blast 3 or more is paid for this cost, draw. Why? So I place it. I Soul Blast 3 to get 15k shield at bare minimum. So I get 25k shield and I regain all the value off of it. This is actually kind of dumb. I'm not gonna lie. Like, Seria is okay, but the biggest issue. See, the biggest issue that people have with the Bermuda Triangle is some people are like, man, this deck is busted, it does so much. And you can see why. You have a card that you have a restander. You have a card that's Paladin duality with extra power. And then you have Nikita, which is another defensive card. Why does Bermuda Triangle have so much defense and then have 18,000 like powerful cards where you can just like multi-attack? Like, that's why, like, at the end of G, why that deck became a top tier deck was because it got a lot of defense. It got a lot of defense to combine with its powerful offense. I'll say this, BT does have a powerful offense, but they were so floundery in defense, it made up for it. When you buff the defense, it becomes an issue. And it's always happened. Like, there's a reason why there's 2 defensive cards on the ban list for Bermuda Triangle. It is definitely because they were in an infinite loop or nothing. It really is because they just have so much defense. So I'd say this, like, Rock is like the worst card, and even then she's not bad. It's just kind of crazy. Alright, Maelstrom Reverse got revealed today, and yeah, let's look at it. Auto Vanguard Circle. At the end of the battle, your rear guard attacked. Hey, Ethics, you can allow that happen, right? If the attack did not hit, cost, lock one of your stand rear guards, and its unit gets power plus 10k until end of turn. If you have a heart card Maelstrom in this card name in your soul, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. Okay, then turn. This, okay. You have Maelstrom, you pop a card. Okay, and you know you're in deck with multi-attack, so they're probably going to block at least a couple attacks, or you can force a miss, and you just pop rear guards to lock for the second skill, which is Auto Vanguard Circle. When its unit attacks, if it's the 4th battle of this turn or more, Crown Blast 1, and its unit gets Critical +1, Drive +1 to end turn. At the end of that battle, if that attack did not hit, for each of your locked cards, your opponent chooses a card from their hand or rear guards and puts them in the drop. I'm gonna say it. I think Maelstrom Reverse is one of the better reverses. I think Maelstrom Reverse might be one of, if not the best reverse in the set. You know, that might be a hot take to some, but I'll say it because, you know, battle your rear guard attacked. If it didn't hit, lock one of your stand rear guards. So the battle happened. Say you were on like a tidal assault or maybe a coral assault or like one of the restanding like rear guards. They're like, okay, I swing, I restand itself. It's already attacked. You can lock it, and then your Vanguard is plus 10k. Then you pop a card on your opponent's board if you wrote it on turn 4. But you also have this other skill, which is when it attacks, if it's 4th battle, just Counter Blast 1, Crit +1, Drive +1. And then at the end, if it didn't hit, if you've done the skill, your opponent chooses a card from the hand or rear guards to put his drop. Let's break this down. Like he's 4th battle turn or more. Just if you wrote him, Counter Blast 1, Crit +1, Drive +1. You don't discard anything. You don't loot. You don't have to pay Counter Blast 2. You get a Crit +1, Drive +1 on your Vanguard for basically free. And then if you've added in the Link Joker shenanigans, you know, the stand rear guards you locked, it gets a bunch of power. You've rewritten a Maelstrom. It doesn't matter the Maelstrom. Right, it doesn't matter Maelstroms. Like, it could be the original, it could be Glory. You just get Crit +1. You just get a free retire. You just get another retire to do so and a bunch of power. Even if you don't use that, 4th battle turn or more. That's pretty easy for Aqua Force. That's their whole shenanigans is wave. Counter Blast 1, Crit +1, Drive +1. Shoot, that's better than most of the verses that have the -4 to restand. Right? And then if you did do the actual mechanics, you rip your cards out of your hand, like out of your opponent's hand or field, like Nubatama. And since you had Maelstrom, which if you've done 3, you potentially just ripped 3. Maelstrom Reverse at least make you feel better by not getting pursued so for dollars. I wouldn't say that. Don't let don't let Toku hear that. He will slush you. But I say this as honestly as like things like by itself, it's the most like it's one of the few reverses that worked by itself. Gets value if you use the other like regular the other like iterations of itself, and then and doesn't straight up shoot yourself in the foot to do so. It's just I'd say this is probably one of the best reverses in the entire like clan selection. Like if you like, I know Solomon wasn't too happy when he saw it originally, but I'm perfectly honest. I think it just fit. It just works. Like if you let it hit, you take 2 damage, not including the drive checks. But if you don't let it hit, you lose more. Your opponent loses more. If you don't let it hit as the opponent, you lose more advantage. This is like the Shadow Stitch conundrum that should have worked when Shadow Stitch was a mechanic in the original in G. Is you have a reason for it to hit, but you also have a reason for it to not hit. Your opponent chooses. It's like the thing of like, I know it's like some people don't like so listen the most currently fair. So it's like would you rather take the 2 crit or would you rather lose 3 cards? Would you rather lose 3 cards that could probably like really help you after you've gone through Aqua Force shenanigans and been attacked multiple times? It's a kind of like a lose-lose, and I think that's fine. I think that's really good. I say Maelstrom was the best, and I still Maelstrom was one of the best. Maelstrom, like the best reverse. Next we got Cobalt Wave. Auto Vanguard. When your rear guard attacks, this unit gets plus 5k in a turn. Okay. Wish it kind of gave this unit plus 5k. That'd been fine, I guess. Auto Vanguard. When this unit attacks, costs Counterblast 1, perform all the following according to this unit's power. 25k or more, gets crit plus 1 to end turn. I don't know if it's worth a quit by that. 30k or more, you may switch all your rear guards between the front and back rows. Okay, so it technically makes more multi-attack while doing the Aqua Force shenanigans. Makes sense. Oh yeah, it's definitely better Tetra. And 35k or more, all your former rear guards get power plus 10k to end turn. I don't hate Cobalt Wave. I think Cobalt Wave is cool. I think Cobalt Wave is cool in the sense of it's another different boss. It doesn't just like do a different thing from the Vanguard, from the clan sense. I think the weird thing is the whole you have to get all this power. Obviously you include the booster, but it's like you have to go 35k or more. I think the real thing is like the burst kind of like system for Cobalt Wave is kind of like weird, and I don't know if it's okay. It's a casual card. I'm not mad at it. It's not overly terrible. It's just as a casual, you'd be like, okay, I want to build a deck around this. I want to have fun with it. Let's do it. Let's try it. Let's do something. So Cobalt's okay. Tier Knight Valeria. Continuous rear during the battle's unit attacked. If it's the 4th battle's turn more, gets plus 10k power. Alright, so 19k beater on 4th turn more. Auto Vanguard rear. When its unit's attack hits a Vanguard, if it is the 3rd battle of that turn or more, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. If it's 4th battle that turn or more, draw a card. Okay, it's Vanguard rear start, so if you write it, you can do some shenanigans early. Okay, I think early rush it's fine, and late game being a 4th battle turn or more gets plus 10k. So if you like punch a bunch of cell circles or restood it gets an additional power. I think the second skill only is really gonna work early. So I I think the on hit conundrum is still there, right? It's on hit pressure, but the other question is like, why not just run the cards that just hit, that just do the skill anyway? So I don't know. Valeria's fine, but I don't think she's like completely like a put her in the deck. I miss Gear Chronicle. Happy they're not stuck on only grade 4 builds anymore. It's different builds. Yeah, I say that. That's it's like really good. Like a lot of the grade 4 build. What? Hold up. What is he doing? Okay. She plans the most of the support grade 1 that makes. Oh yeah, I forgot that existed. Oh yeah. You know what? That actually is not bad. Not gonna lie. Hold on just a second. Oh, for wine focus build? A wine focus build would be nice. Okay, so yeah, I say Aqua Force was alright, and I now remember that Maelstrom card that actually definitely helps. And the last clan, Megacolony, we made it. So martial arts mutant Master Beetle, act Vanguard Rearguard. Counterblast 1. Choose 2 of your opponent's rear guards, rest them, and it cannot stand during the next stand phase. If this unit is on Vanguard Circle, this unit gets all the chosen units' original power till end of turn. Okay, so on Vanguard comes a big beater. For Counterblast 1, you rest 2, and your opponent has to either like not use them or call over them. It's okay. Okay, stun. Auto Vanguard. When its unit attacks, cost Counterblast 1 and discard card from hand. And its unit gets drive +1 until end of that battle for every 3 you and your opponent's rear guards at rest. I don't know. It's okay. I think it's a fine casual build, but I'm not sure how to really think about it, because I feel like there's still a lot of, I don't know, I feel like there's something lacking to it. Every 3 years opponents rest, right? So say 3 is 9, so full board it gets drive +3. So it gets +3 drive on a full rested board. Uh, I think the fact that you get the +3 on a full, I think it's. I really don't know. I really don't know. I don't have an answer, which is so weird. Uh, I think it's fine casually. I think it's a fine casual thing. I don't think it's really even competitive. I think you have other other decks that could just do a lot of. Yeah, it reminds me of gunning. Yeah, it feels like gunning Colio, but I also think just like gunning Colio has something to it where it's like, oh, you can gunning Colio can like actually guard restrict. So while yeah, gunning Colio just like triple and quad drived you, it had the guard restrict to like make it more threatening. I think that's what Master Beetle is kind of missing. Right? It's like you mill and you guard restrict. If you hit the grade zeros, you lose the PGs or the things where you guard restrict and you just keep. It gives a lot more pressure to the actual drive than what Master Beetle does. I think that's what's missing. I think just it doesn't have a natural pressure. I think it gets more power than Gunning Colio, but I just think Gunning Colio does more. I just think every other like it's so weird to say this, but I think almost everything except maybe machining, the first machining boss, does more for Megacolony than this does. Machining Armor Beetle, speaking of machinings. Act once per turn, rest another rear guard, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, rest it, and at you to cannot stand during next stand phase, this is plus 6k. Even Venom Stinger? Yes, even Venom Stinger. Because Venom Stinger has that ability to just like call that that grade 3 and like have a multi-attack engine as well. So if this unit is in rest, all your opponent's rear guards in the same column as the unit lose intercept and boost and cannot gain them. I think this is an okay grade 2 for machining. Yeah, I think it's a fine card for machining, so I don't think it's completely like useless or anything. I think it's fine as like machining rear. Yeah, the self-resting it synergizes with the machining deck, and you know that's all I can ask for at this point. Or she did a little bit more, but I'm fine with it. Yeah. Okay. Alright. So Armor Beetle, and then last card, Brilliant Blister. It's V version. Auto back row rearguard circle. At the end of your turn, if your opponent has no rearguards at stand, you return this unit to your hand. Then, if you return it to your hand, if hand has 6 or less, Soul Blast 1 draw. So what is used put on Guardian Circle, if your opponent's Vanguard is rest, Soul Blast 1, discard card from your hand, choose one of your opponent's rearguards, rest it, and you cannot stand until end of turn. Brilliant Blister is an outstanding card. Like, this card is actually insane. Because you have, you know, no rear guards at stand, so you can rush. So that means you can actually rush, then bring this in hand, and if you return it in 6 or less, you draw. So say 5, say it's like you're at 4, you use the first Brilliant Blister, Soul Blast brings to the hand, draw a card. You know, you're not 6. Second Brain Blister, you bring it back. You know, you can get your hand to at least 7 early and just kind of like go to town. And then I think the only like issue with the second skill is your opponent's Vanguard has to be rested, meaning if you do not meaning if your like opponent if your opponent's Vanguard has to either attack or has already attacked for it to really be as effective. So it's still a good card. I'm not even trying to be like, oh man, there's problems with it. It's still just real good. It's just there's some situational, there's a little more situational to it, but it's still a good card regardless. Just straight up. And that is all of the V Clan collection. Just going through it. So what do I like? First off, I think the question is more so of the clan collections, which one is probably the best? And I have to say, I'd probably looking through it, I'd have to say Clan Collection 3 is probably the best. More so not just because Volume 3 is just so good, but I think just Volume 4, like, let's go look at Volume 4 real quick again. When it loads. Like, let's look at Volume 4 again. Just, you take a look at the cards that are there and yeah, it's like Brilliant Blister is part of the. Yeah, I would say Brilliant Blister is one of those cards where it's like you go and be like,